If this is your first time or your usual time with us, then welcome to XboxEra. We provide a platform for the Xbox community from our forums and Discord, our main site with the latest news and reviews, and our podcasts like the XboxEra podcast and You Have Me at Halo. We exist, our focus on the Xbox platform front and center, because so many media publications out there don't. We love this community and believe Xbox really can be the very best place to play. If you love what we do, help us. You can join as a YouTube member, or even better, subscribe to us on Patreon. You help us grow and get plenty of perks to enjoy as a token of our appreciation. Just head to patreon.com/XboxEra. And as always, thanks for sticking around. This podcast is brought to you by executive producers Torn Raptor and Top. Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 174 of the XboxEra podcast, live from Germany for myself at least. XboxEra is the Xbox-centric publication funded by and for our community. If this is your first time with us, then welcome. If this is your usual time with us, then welcome back. If you love what we do, as always, you can head to patreon.com/XboxEra and you can support us directly or by becoming a YouTube member right here with us live. As per usual, I'm joined by Special Nick.
What's going on?
That was somewhat muted, but I'll take it. And Jesse's here as well.
Remember, it's 7 a.m. here, don't forget.
Yeah, we got Nick up an hour earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I had to be up at 6:30.
I sense there's going to be all sorts of issues. Like now that we're live, you guys are like a full, I want to say like half a second behind your video and your audio. So this is going to be me like constantly interrupting you and then not wanting to talk over you. So to all our live viewers, I apologize for the shenanigans that are inevitably about to ensue. As you can see, I am still in a hotel in Cologne. Interestingly, the city centre where we're at the moment has turned into like a little music festival. So there's a lot of partying going outside, a lot of European eating out on the street and having dinners and stuff like that, and music and concerts and all sorts of stuff. It's pretty cool. But we want to do a show, so we're here. Technical foibles and all. Welcome, chat, as always, to everyone that's come to hang out with us for the evening. How you been? You had a good week, Nick? You had some time? Jesse, you had a good time? Everyone happy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel satisfied.
We've been okay. I'm assuming we haven't been getting as inebriated as you probably have this week. As I noticed when I watched Boxenberger's, I happened to catch a little bit of Boxenberger's podcast where the three of you were acting like three high school girls having a sleepover.
It was very intimate. It was a very intimate show.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure you were under the influence of alcohol during that podcast. Would I be correct in that assumption?
Then barely. German beer is pretty strong. I think I'd only had one or two.
Yeah, sure.
I am a complete lightweight. Like my 6-year-old could drink me under the table if she chose. But no, nothing too bad. I think Boxenberger was definitely on the way by the time he started doing that podcast. Giant German beers. Apparently, he was telling me they order it in meters. Did you know that? You can, I'd like a meter of beer. And it actually comes in exactly X number of glasses as long as a meter. Go figure.
Really? Wow. Okay. That's full on.
Yeah. It is. It's been a full-on week, but we'll get into it. We'll get into it in plenty of time. Before we even do that, chat, hit that like button. And we've got a couple of super chats.
Yes. Dominic Malta just decided to kindly donate a couple of likes. So thanks for that. And Drew Bus, who's up early in Australia, Melbourne Storm supporter, with an $8 super chat. Morning, gents. More of a question for Nick, but why doesn't Valve officially release the Steam Deck here in Australia? I don't trust third-party sellers. I have no idea why Steam Deck doesn't release it. Why Valve doesn't release the Steam Deck here. I have zero idea. It seems so, I don't know, just seems odd. There's plenty of people down here that buy them, like they import them and stuff.
Might be a tax
your brother
thing or
used
something.
Really good third-party reseller.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe Valve are just dumb and don't like money. I don't know. Like they had enough Steam Decks to give away one a minute during the Keeleys. But then they don't have.
Could it be some weird legal thing, like weird tax laws or import laws or fees or something? Never know.
I don't know.
I think your brother used a good third-party reseller, dude. So
yeah, he did. A British reseller. What I'm gonna do is, just in case, I'm gonna read out Dominic Malta's chat comment after his super chat, because that sounds like it was probably meant to be with the super chat. You just can't beat the chemistry the cast has on this podcast. That's why I tune in every week. Much love to Nick, Jesse, and John. By the way, I'm a $6 Patreon member, but I don't know how to write in questions. You got to join the forum.
Let me tell you exactly how, Dominic. You head to xboxera.com, click on the forums tab, link your Patreon account to your forum membership, and you can visit the Patreon lounge, which exists in the forums, but only for Patreon members. And that's how you can write in community questions every week. It's far easier for us to manage it there than try and take them from Patreon or Twitter and all over the place. So hopefully that helps.
And I do think I've realized. I realize an issue we've been having, John, which is when we do the local recording, which makes the podcast sound incredible on like Spotify and everywhere. It is constantly uploading that audio. It doesn't wait until we're done. So we're double uploading, which is probably the issue. Would be my guess.
Oh, wow. Can we?
I can't stop it now.
Yeah. Can't stop the train. Okay, that's fine. But that's very kind words from Dominic. There, it's very very.
He's
kind.
Followed up with a thank you, Nick super chat. No worries, mate. I knew what you were doing. Kidneys. I knew.
He's on the ball.
Kidneys,
I have to call it out
kidneys.
as well. It's not a super chat, but I was standing in a coffee shop in Gamescom, and I was hugged and handshaked by Flagship, who has just appeared in the chat and said it was so nice to bump into me at the coffee place at Cologne Fair. Just want to say thanks for all you do, making the most chillaxing podcast of all time. That's very kind of you, Flagship. It was a pleasure to meet you. And this is the best Xbox podcast. Tubes, I think. I'm biased. Anyway, news
robot.
Yeah.
Full robot.
Bloody German.
What?
Bloody
and
German
it's funny because
hotel Wi-Fi and what?
Right, try now.
Oh,
it was robot for a sec.
From what, me?
Yeah, you're back now.
Okay, I'm sorry. This is going to be
in situations like
tough.
this. We just won't have to. We won't do the local recording because that's probably what's the double upload is definitely not helping. But whatever, we'll survive.
It's a shame. It's not up to the standard that I achieve when I do the podcast from hotels, is it? So it's not quite.
What's funny, you're also constantly. Your video stutters a ton when we do it this way, Nick. Even though your upload's good, yeah. So we're just gonna have to. Sorry to everyone who likes listening. Yeah, everyone who likes listening with the brand new, incredibly good quality audio, that's gonna have to go away because StreamYard can't seem to actually support it. Because Nick's upload should be more than enough, but it is definitely struggling.
My upload is 45.
Yeah, that should be enough to do it about 20 times in a row.
Yeah, it's like my download is 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
My internet can't be much better than it is.
Yeah. Well, look, before we get into the news of the weekend and what I've been doing at Gamescom, should we talk about what we've been playing? And I'll defer to you two because I've been playing and Gamescom kind of go hand in hand.
We'll get into your stuff in Gamescom. Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you been playing, Nick?
What have I been playing? I don't think I've been playing anything like new.
Sounds about right.
This week. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there is anything because sometimes I remember stuff like last minute. But I don't believe I can think of anything that I've been playing because I was in such a rush to get Optimus Prime in Fortnite and all that sort of stuff. So I have not been playing.
We use a showrunner, and in Nick's "What have we been playing" section, I just always leave Rocket League and Fortnite, and I never take them out.
Never changes.
There is no point. Yeah.
No, there's no point whatsoever.
I mean, and mine's a pretty obvious one. I've just been playing Starfield. I've been working on the review, which I don't think it's worth saying is done, but I now did. So on Thursday, when everything goes live, you can expect from us my review. I have an hour and 40 minutes of an hour and 50 minutes of gameplay on Series X side mission. Have 35 minutes on Series S and a little over an hour at max settings on PC. Those will all go up half an hour after the review. Then I've got a little video of background. Yes, we'll premiere I could set the premiere now, but I know people yell at us. Then I've got a little traits video, like every trait, and then an every background video. And those will be the 6 videos that go up on Thursday. And I'll also try and get some articles for just basic stuff. And I'll continue to watch Twitter and Recetera and see people keep guessing with all the leaks that keep hitting and be really annoyed that I can't correct them.
That's a good way of putting it.
I can't wait to have people like shitting all over our reviews saying, "Oh my god, you think Starfield's is almost as good as Redfall, or Redfall's nearly as good as Starfield." Oh my god, can't wait.
Yeah, that's always the go-to because obviously every game's the exact same, and they were yelling at Ursul's review of Armored Core. Oh, you give this or his review of Immortals of Avium. Oh, you give this better. This isn't as good as Redfall, huh? And he's like, well, I didn't review Redfall, and they're different games. Like, there's this weird toxic mess online where it doesn't matter who does it. It doesn't matter why, like the why and the who doesn't matter. If a publication gives one game this and one game that, then it's just compared nonstop, no matter how little sense it actually makes.
Their brains can't comprehend it. And, I was seeing the torrent of abuse coming in on the Armored Core 6 review. I've read the review, and I've played Armored Core before, and every Armored Core I've played, I thought it's not for me. This is shit and pisses me off, and it's a waste of my. I would have pooped all over that game.
It's also a From game.
Yeah, it's not my style. Now, games. Jesse, you've played tons of From Software games, right? You like a larger number of them. It's fair to say
I've liked all of them except for this one.
Genre.
I've liked
that's the funny part.
Yeah, like I really enjoyed Demon's Souls. Then I thought they massively improved with Dark Souls. Dark Souls 2 is great. Dark Souls 3 is one of my favorite games of last gen. Then Bloodborne's great outside of the Vile grind. And then Elden Ring I gave a 9.8. Yet there were dozens of comments calling me a From hater or too bad at games to beat them. Like, I beat Armored Core. It's about 15 hours long. I've got like 24 or 25 hours in it because I did everything I could. I beat the game. I do not like the way... So the Souls games, I think and it doesn't have to play like Souls. It doesn't have to be Souls. The positive things about those games are the world building and the power ramps and the way the difficulty feels. And in Armored Core, it is you pretty much blast through most of the normal missions, and occasionally you hit an unbelievably difficult boss who has a very specific gameplay style and loadout that you need to beat them. But to buy that loadout, you have to go back and redo a bunch of old missions, and I don't enjoy that. I don't like that gameplay loop. But like, I tried to write it this way where if you enjoy that, if you like that gameplay loop, it plays really well otherwise, so it's a great game for you. But people will also say, oh, you're either hive mind or you're a fanboy if you go against the majority. If you're, and I'm not alone, there's 7 reviews lower than me. There's like another 7 right around me. Like, I'm not an outlier where I gave it a 3 and no one else is below a 9. It's just this thing where people are going to call you a fanboy, or they're going to call you a fraud or a phony or terrible at games if you don't like what they like, or if you don't hate what they hate, and you can't win in that situation. So either you're going to be truthful and you're going to give your subjective opinion, which is what these reviews are. You're going to reach up your ass and you're going to pull out a review score, because that's what review scores are. But if it doesn't go with what people are hoping for, because they treat game reviews like sports and it's an event and they want to win, where their game gets this great review, and like, so you just, in the end, and I turned the comments off because they weren't critiques, they were just nonstop insults. It wasn't like,
I replied to a tweet.
Yeah,
I replied to a tweet saying so, because there was tweets that were basically intimating that, because we're Xbox, we don't like From.
Yeah, this controller paid me off. I only gave Redfall a good score because they sent a controller a week after I put the review out.
So I replied to that tweet and said, so how do you explain Jesse's 9.8 for Elden Ring? Strangely, didn't get a reply to that tweet.
No, sure none of it makes any sense. It's.
Oh, look! Don't get me wrong. I get it. I'll put my hand up and say that I foolishly used to be the same when I'd see an outlet give a certain game something and then another game something else. I used to kind of think the same way a long time ago. But, that was before I realized that there's different reviewers and there's different this and different that. And, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
The real irony is that Jesse and I fight over his scores all the time.
And my scores on average are the lowest I have the lowest average score for any of our regular reviewers.
Yeah, but you also write the most reviews. Let's see what you're up to.
But it's like, and I always write them where like there, and like VG247 gave the exact same score for Redfall, and then gave a lower score for Armored Core. It's like, it's not, and it was, I don't even know if it was the same person or not. It's just people get so wrapped up in the score that they won't read the review. Like, there have been some comments that go up, and like there was one guy talking about, I literally only had 12, I had 1 day to review Remnant 2, and I beat it in that 1 day. But Remnant 2 is a very replayable game. And so the guy came in and he was just breaking down. He was like, I get because you only had 1 day, but there's also all this, and this that you probably didn't get to experience. And he broke it down. That's a critique. It wasn't, you fucking idiot, you fat shit, you know nothing, you dumb bitch. Like, that's what 99% of those comments that I just got rid of and then eventually turned off were. That's not criticism. Yeah. That's just being an asshole. And they're not.
Yeah,
this isn't a paid service.
The internet has a lot of assholes.
Yeah, you're not paying for YouTube. You're just watching someone else's video, and most of them aren't even subscribers. None of them were YouTube members. Like, if you're not a subscriber on the channel, if you're not supporting the channel in every way, you don't have a right to just leave shitty comments. So, fuck you.
Yeah. Also, it's perfectly within our remit to not read them and or delete them at our leisure, because it's our corner of the internet, yo. Yeah, it's a thing. But I'm sorry that you've had to put up with more useless nonsense from internet weirdos.
And Jesse, it's going to get so much worse. No matter which way I go on Starfield, no matter good, medium, okay, great, fantastic, doesn't matter. It's going to be even worse on Starfield. So, yay.
We'll see. Yeah. Let's talk through all the stuff. So, what have I been playing? Where do you guys want to begin? I've been at Gamescom all week. Where do we begin? Gamescom.
It's your story. All you.
It's my story. So yeah, first time here in Cologne, in Germany. First Gamescom. First experience as an official member of press, which got us some really unique access and perks to all the different halls, etc., throughout and around Gamescom. If you've never been before, the Cologne mess is huge. On the first day, I walked over 17 kilometers.
Jesus.
And we were there all day. We arrived at 8 a.m., got our press tickets, was standing vaping outside the entrance as all the exhibitors were coming through. Todd Howard, a very sleepy looking Todd Howard, literally just walked on by, and I was like, "Hey, Todd," and he looked like he needed like another 3 coffees. And it's weird. Rewind 4 years, and I would have been like, "Todd, can I have selfie?" Woo! And all of that stuff. And I'm like, "Hang on a second, these are just human beings that happen to work in video games." So I
probably have really bad jet lag.
Yeah, I switched off and repressed all of the fangirling that a lot of folks love to do. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't do that. It's just like it's 8:10. He looks exhausted. Does he really want to be bothered by some random dude vaping outside the center? He hasn't even started his day yet. Do you know what I mean? So I just let it slide. But we go in, and Microsoft has arranged for press and trade to have access to the Xbox booth for 3 hours, so 9 to 12, before anyone else comes in. So unless you have the unique press written on, they were like, "Nah, turn around." And the whole point of that, I think, was to actually allow you to queue up for games, because there's one thing I've learned. If you're going to go to Gamescom and you don't have the opportunity to travel to Gamescom as press or trade in any capacity, man, I wouldn't bother. The crowds on Friday and Saturday and Sunday are horrific. Wandering Dutch and Boxenberger, two YouTubers that were out there. Go check out their channels. They're really cool guys. Lifelong friends now. It was such a good time out here. They tried to queue up to play Black Myth. Yeah. I think you have. I think I have as well. They tried to queue up to play Black Myth, and the queue was 300 minutes long. 300 minutes, right? So if you're there at Gamescom from 9
You got in that queue and it's 300 minutes long. That is 5 hours of standing in a queue to play 10 minutes of one game. Screw that.
So why did you say 300 minutes instead of just 5 hours?
Because that's how they displayed it on the thing.
Germans are down to
the
queue.
Yeah,
300 minutes. It's insane.
German time is
simulator
precise.
game. They should make a queue simulator game.
I think it would be nailed. It'd be good. But yeah, so it's very, very busy, very hot. There's not a huge amount of aircon in there. But the Xbox booth was fantastic. They had a Forza demonstration in there. Forza looked fantastic. Like really, really pretty. The demonstration they put on was really good. No hands-on for Forza. It's just like a cool little booth and they walked you through some stuff, but they were playing it live, which was cool. So it wasn't like faked or anything. But the first thing we got to see, or at least I got to see when we went in, was they ushered us into a massive booth at the back of the room, which was a Starfield booth, right? So it had all the Starfield Bethesda. They had I can't remember what yogurt drink. It was like a protein shake drink. It was cinnamon flavored, not for me, but it was like a Starfield branded protein shake. They
that's this is food thing. It's that drink and it says this is food like on it.
Yeah, they put on this very adorable Starfield coloured wristband. We got one of these each, they're very cute. And we went and sat in this whole incredible screen. Like it wasn't a projector, it was a massive, massive, high quality, very, very high definition screen with this absolutely epic sound system. And then Phil Spencer just rocked up. He did an announce about how hard they've been working on the game with their friends at Bethesda, blah, blah, blah. And without further ado, here's Todd Howard. And it was basically a truncated, again, trying not to give impressions of Starfield because obviously I played it. It was a truncated, cut down first 2 hours of the game that just gave you a taste of some of the different systems at play and the story that opens up the game. It was nicely done. It looked fantastic on that screen. Obviously, I'm speaking specifically about the demo that I saw, not what I have played. And everyone clapped and hollered and whooped. And then Todd went, thank you, everyone, blah, blah, blah. But there's one more thing. And then they rolled it's like a 45-second glimpse at Fallout, made in partnership with Amazon for the TV show. Got to admit, it looked real good, like real good. And I was like, ooh, I kind of want to watch this.
They got it in just before Amazon stopped putting a ton of money into everything. So they got a big budget.
Yes, Nicholas.
Are you allowed to mention the Certain Affinity game?
I am allowed to talk about the Certain Affinity game that I've played to a certain degree, yes.
Okay. Okay, go.
I'll get to that. I'll get to Certain Affinity. That was the very last activity of Gamescom for me. And actually, honestly, probably the coolest one. But I will get to that. I won't spend too much longer on it. I got to try a bunch of different things. I tried Cocoon. I can't wait for it. I am very much looking forward to doing the review for that one later next month. I tried a bit of Party Animals, which was really good fun.
Was it good?
I think you're going to really enjoy it, Nick. Yeah, it's right up your alley.
Looks so good.
It's laugh out loud fun. Stumble Guys, which is
like
really Fallout Guys. Yeah, Fallout Guys. What am I smoking? It is just, and I'm like, this is the same game. What is this? And there was this really excited dude. He was like, hey, because I was waiting for Cocoon. He was like, hey, if you haven't played Stumble Guys, and I was like, yes, I am aware of what Stumble Guys is. Okay, strange Stumble Guys, man. So I went and played that. It's fine. It's a Fall Guys game clone thing. I don't know what their difference is to be, but
they've mixed some more genres in there. It's more open and less just you're always the same bean running and jumping.
The demo was the standard Fall Guys, hammers swinging stuff, bouncy castle land. It was yes, Nick. I like this. This is like being at school.
Did you see Xbox is doing a competition to give away 2 Xbox Series S's that are party animals themed Series
The dog
S's?
and cat. Yes, I
They
did.
look so cool. They look
I know.
so. See how much better the Series S looks when it's all one color. It looks so much nicer.
You want the dog one, right?
So you get both. I think if you win, you get both.
Whoa, that's
So if I'm lucky enough, one will go to the daughter, one will go to the son, and I'll sell off their current Series S's for sure.
That's good. Well, fingers crossed for you, Nick. I hope you win.
I should.
What else?
I've been shilling for that game like crazy.
I know. Well, you can do the review for it, man. You can tell us how you feel when you get to play it. They're doing some beta stuff very, very soon. So,
Okay.
What else? Played Towerborne, very cool. Bit frustrated. I had a really quick go on Towerborne, but side story. I had a dedicated half hour set aside to meet the team, meet the directors from Stoic.
Mm.
And I arrive on the Thursday to go and do that. And Xbox PR had made a mistake and they had no room for me. And they were like, "Oh my God, we're so sorry." They sent a guy out to apologize. He was really cool. We smoothed down the hatches and it was like, you're first on the list if anyone else bails. But it wasn't to be. But I did have a really good solid chat with, can't remember his name now, Peter, I think one of the heads of Stoic, and another guy called Jon. Didn't know this at the time, but Stoic, as soon as the pandemic hit and they were ramping up, they're now a completely remote studio, just like Moon. So Towerborne is a game that's been developed in that way. And we had a chat about some of the challenges. It was really cool conversations. I think Towerborne is going to be one of those games that no one knows they need until they actually get to play it. It ticks a box. Like, do you remember how much fun? Do you remember how much fun Castle Crashers was when it came out? And how everyone was like, "Oh my God, yeah, quick 4-player," and you just would play with your mates and you'd play for hours. Yeah. I think everyone's going to have a good time. Didn't play Starfield, obviously, because there was no playable Starfield at the show.
And you don't need to.
It's just coming into my brain.
I guess that means the game sucks.
It's not one of those. Yeah, it's not one of those things.
You can't demo. Even I'm smart enough to know that you can't demo Starfield in 10, 15, 20 minutes.
No, there's no gameplay.
By the time you've
complete that would satisfy.
by the time you've walked 15 meters, it's like, oh, sorry, time's up. And then you're like, oh, this game sucks. All I did was walk for a bit.
Yeah, and anyone wondering, no, we are not going to talk about any leaks that are coming out from people who have gotten early physical copies.
Yeah, that's
there are
against
early
our
physical copies out there.
There are. Look, if you've sat and watched a 45-minute portrait filmed Starfield, like filmed off of a phone of someone playing off a screen, and you've done that to somehow satisfy your curiosity, you're a goddamn animal. All right, just wait 6 more days if you've got the premium edition. Just play it then. All right, it's gonna be okay. And if you can't wait for the premium edition, we're gonna have some good shit ready for you on the day that premium edition launches. And if you want, you can load up YouTube and just hold a pad and pretend you're playing. Okay, you can do that half hour a day until the normal Game Pass launch. I understand if that's what you want to do. Age of Empires 4 was on the show floor. Obviously, they shadow dropped that at Only Night Live.
Don't say shadow drop. Tom Warren refuses to accept that that's a shadow drop. It's only a shadow drop if it was never announced at all before, in his mind.
Oh, okay. They just surprise released a game that we knew was coming.
I agree with that.
I don't agree with it either.
Did you like my little tweet about Age 4?
I didn't see it. You'll have to refresh my memory, my man.
I may have put out a tweet alluding to the idea that Age 4 was going to be shadow drop.
Nicholas, what have we spoken about? What have we spoken about? All right, you pack it in. All right, now. What else? They had loads of really nerdy, geeky kind of get your photo done. There's a bunch of stuff like you can load up some of the photos that we've had. Like I think I sent you, Jesse. I don't know if you've got the opportunity to do that.
Look,
like
it's
so,
Meme Man.
The meme
this is
old
really
man.
funny.
Look what his
right?
t-shirt says. His t-shirt says, "I am a meme."
No, it says, "I am a meme, not an influencer." But this is the really sad thing about Hide the Pain Harold, right? You can clearly see that I'm still slightly excited to even be very close to him. I did get to shake his hand, right? But 9gag invited me to come to their booth, and I only went because they said I could get a photo with Hide the Pain Harold. Now, there is a running joke in my personal circle of friends that I look a little bit like Hide the Pain Harold. Now, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but sure, let's run with it. Okay. I go to the 9gag booth, and let's be real here. Harold is an old age pensioner who had no fucking idea why he was really there. He looked exhausted, a little confused, and all of the young 20-year-old kids that were meant to be caring for him were just talking at him in these annoying. I was just like, the guy looked like he was about to just collapse. And they sat him down in his chair and parked him at the back. And they said, Harold's not taking any photos or selfies or anything until 2:30 because he's a bit tired at the moment. And I thought it was
But he's
really
got that
sad.
t-shirt.
I know.
So he must know why he's there.
Mate, I'm sure he knows why he's there, but it just felt like a little bit of exploitation of an elderly man. But saying said that, I was still guilty enough of being so delighted to see him that I pulled that face in the background to get a picture. So it is what it is. Everyone grifts in their own ways. I just thought it was a bit weird. Like he genuinely was like, huh? What? What's going on? Like it was just like, oh yeah, he is like 90.
Who are all these smelly nerds?
Yeah, man, the smell of the BO in the Gamescom.
Oh, would have been shocking.
Legendary.
It would have been
My
shocking.
good God. Man, as someone who's 5'7", I'm at a certain height. Like there's just dust, hot BO filled air, and all fresh air is up there in the clouds where I can't get to it. It's rough. It's rough.
Gross.
You need one of those plague doctor masks where you got all the flowers in the front.
Yeah. Yeah, the first day itself was probably the longest day of Gamescom because obviously we had FanFest straight afterwards. So I did the morning with the Xbox team. We met up with Boxerburger, Wandering Dutch, Gaz and Co were there. But then in the afternoon, I got shuffled off on a coach to go and see an hour-long demo of Alan Wake 2. Now, I've seen a lot of gameplay and graphical fidelity and all of this stuff. Remedy, Sam Lake was there. And again, I still find it so strange. This is journalists and press. And there are journalists and press. Oh, Sam Lake, I'm such a huge fan. Can I take a picture with you? Oh my God, thank you. Oh, thumbs up. And I'm like, this is so fucking cringe. Like, I just can't do it. This is just Sam. He looks tired. He's flown from wherever he's flown from. Like, just let the man do his job, all right? Like, fuck this shit. Anyway, we went there, hour-long demo. They had popcorn and beer and sandwiches and fancy food. And, it was a bit of that kind of like press life. They gave some swag out, which I've got. And they gave out thermoses, which are the save points in Alan Wake 2. Apologies, the musical ambulances in Germany are really weird, if you can hear that on the mic. But they gave out these thermoses and a poster. I've got them somewhere. I'll probably do a giveaway with them or something like that. But then they showed off this gameplay, and it starts off with this Clarke show. Now, Remedy haven't got away from their love of real cinema actors, real-time stuff. And it's done very, very well, but it's convoluted. It's a bit confusing. It's a bit crazy. But then we're all in the cinema, and they just boom, 41 minutes of the most PC, ray traced out of the gills, best fidelity I've seen for a while, like video game gameplay. And I'm just like, wow. I've written up a full preview, so I will get that published. I tried editing some video on the laptop today, and it wasn't really having it, so I'll do that when I get back. Yes, Nicholas.
I did tweet about Alan Wake 2 back in April, and I couldn't say back then, but I'm allowed to say now. I was sent screenshots back then of Alan Wake 2. That's why I tweeted out talking about how it's going to be a true showcase of, I guess I said next gen back then, but I guess now current gen. because I was sent screenshots of it back in April, and I was like, "Holy shit, this game looks incredible!" I was like, "Wow!" And that was back in April, so I can only imagine what it looks like now.
Honestly, on
Can't wait.
PC, and I can't speak for exactly
Wait.
what it looks like on Series X because that's not the gameplay I saw. But on PC, I was genuinely impressed. Like this is a stunning looking game. I don't want to talk away too much. I'll drop a couple of extra nuggets because I do a fairly in-depth preview, and I've got some really nice B-roll footage which I'll edit together for a video. But nutshell, no ray tracing on Series X or any console of that matter. No ray tracing Series X, Series S, or PS5. Just as a heads up, it's a question I did ask. I also spotted a character during the gameplay demo of this bearded policeman who looked a little bit like Sean Ashmore from Quantum Break. If you remember the guy who was in X-Men, it was indeed a cameo of Sean Ashmore. So I was quite, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just very quickly, the way that they have designed Alan Wake is they've leaned into the fact that he is a writer. So, and I'll try and give you a good example. The world he's trapped in is called the dark place, is what he calls it, but he can influence what happens there to a degree. So you've still got all the kind of shadowy beasties and they'll come out of like these shadow, and it's really freaky at times because there's like 50 of them on screen and you're like, oh my God, which one's going to come at me? And they just come and get you. It's very like tense, but Alan can discover these set pieces or scenes and clues to the book that he's forgotten he's written, right? And like you came across one point, there's just like a train station, and he's like, this, and it's all blocked off and you can't get to it. And he's like, wait, I've got an idea for a plot twist kind of thing or a new story beat. And he puts this murder cult clue that he found at the train station. And as soon as he comes back, the train station just warps real time. It looks phenomenal. And suddenly now the train will open, but it's been set on fire and there's all bodies inside and they're screaming at you. Like you can hear all the haunt. It's really chilling stuff. And the way that he can trap light and move light to different places, and it like transforms the world around him instantly. It was one heck of a good demo. Like I was like, I really want to try this out. So very, very impressive stuff. Yes, I love this. It's like a talk show.
Did they carry across the same mechanic from Alan Wake 1 where you've got the torch to wear away the darkness on an enemy? Or is that not carried over?
Yes. Yes, they did carry it over.
Ah, that's still there. Okay.
It's still there. It's slightly different how you end up with those items. I don't want to spoil any story stuff. Okay. But yes, yeah. The whole... and you can burn them away and while they're
Who's reviewing that
out of the dark. I don't think that's been decided yet. Do you want to have an arm wrestle for it?
Maybe.
Nick, any big game like that, you might get 5 days at the most.
Oh, really?
Yeah, big games are almost never. The 5 weeks you had on Double Dragon is the longest I've ever seen. Average is maybe a week, maybe.
And the irony of Double Dragon was we got 5 weeks for a game that can be beaten in an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
That's the game that I could have probably done in a couple of days.
That is ironic. But yeah, so that was Alan Wake. Then we got shuffled back by Coach, and then it was we went and grabbed some dinner. So I met up with Jez and Gaz and Erwin, Forza Erwin, Mick 29, Wandering Dutch, Boxenberger, two of Gaz's pals, and we all went out to Hallmarkt, which is like a really big square near the Rhine. That's my partner Cat hugging the party animals dog. We went to the Rhine to this restaurant and we had some really good food.
To me out of order. There we go.
Yeah, it's all right. I enjoyed some good Kolsch, and we learned that the German word for cheers is Prost, not Skol. That's Dutch, I think, or Denmark, or one of those. Had some good food, really good food in Germany. Lots of meat, though. If you're not meat or cheese orientated, it's not for you. That is a pork knuckle, which I think is a Schweizenachs. I'm sure Boxenberger will keep me honest on my terrible German. it completely defeated me. It was too much. I died. I actually was dead.
It looks like a lot.
It is literally that whole outer coating is just crackling, like pork crackling.
Oh, I love crackling.
Really, like I'm going to shatter your teeth. Crackling.
Love crackling.
Yeah, it was all cool. But after that day, we then went to Fanfest. Now, Fanfest is something that Xbox do pretty much every time they have a show or an event. They try and do something for the fans, which is where you have to have tickets and you get special access to the Xbox booth. Now, throughout the whole of the day, I've been carrying around a demo copy of the XboxEra book, which is actually still here, which is next to me. And another one. Now, these aren't light. And after 17 kilometers of walking, carrying several books, I was pretty knackered. But I was pretty determined to make sure that we got a copy to our good friend and previous guest of the XboxEra podcast, Mr. Phil Spencer himself. And after much patience and chatting to Aaron Greenberg and some of the other Xbox team, the opportunity presented itself to have a quick chat with Phil. Now, what's really cool is, and we are going to give this away, folks, so I'm going to organize something for this, as well as giving Phil a copy, which was really cool. It was really nice to be able to hand it to him and talk to him, and he was really touched, right? He signed this copy. This is a signed copy. There it is on the screen.
Oh,
see that there? Right. We're going to see if we can find a way to get this to an XboxEra community member, a signed copy of the one of very few books that are going to be made. So it was an incredible night, all in all. Met a lot of good people. Met another guy from Microsoft called Tony. He's a really nice guy as well. It was just awesome. Like, the community is incredible. Like, so many good people. Yeah, that was the first day. There's some other bits and pieces throughout. Like, the next day was a lot more chilled, a lot less painful. I got to play some Flashback 2 from Microids, which I was genuinely surprised at how good this was. I was like, oh, if you're a Flashback fan. They were really cool. They were like, are you familiar with Flashback? I was like, I am very well versed in Flashback. And they after I finished the first demo, they let me play a little bit of the jungle section, which is obviously alluding to the first game, which was super cool.
I didn't know Flashback 2 was a thing.
Yeah, we've been getting emails on them. You probably have a bunch.
Yeah, there was Fade to Black, which was a sequel to Flashback, and then there is this is
I played Fade to Black.
Yeah, so Flashback 2, it's a thing. It's an interesting. I got some hints at the story, but it plays a little bit like I don't know what to liken it to. Kind of 2D, but there is some depth in the way you can traverse, so it feels a little bit like The Ascent at times. And there's some cool tech and stuff like that.
I'm watching the trailer now.
Yeah, it was cool. It was really, really cool. And I guess the last thing that we can talk about before we go over any questions that the chat might have, feel free to ping them our way. Was I got to very kindly was invited, and I have to give a shout out to Patreon member Vinny13, who pinged me a tweet that said Max Hoberman, who is the CEO and director of Certain Affinity, based out of Texas, was inviting people to come and check out something new that they had made. So I pinged Max a DM on Twitter. He very kindly got back to me. We had a brief chat, and we agreed. I agreed to sign an NDA, and they invited me along to a different location outside of the Colne Mess to actually get hands-on with something that they are pitching. I can't say much. I'm not allowed to tell you specifics. What I can tell you is it was an FPS. I can tell you that personally, I thought it was probably one of the coolest things I've played at the whole of Gamescom. It was probably one of the coolest things I've played in a while. I instantly liked it a lot. And what really, really blew my mind was the team that was there built it in 7 months. And I was floored. Like, I was like, get the fuck out of here, 7 months. I was like, 7 months. I was like, come on. Insane. Like, absolutely nuts. And that's about all I can say about it.
Maybe Microsoft
but it's called
should
Project...
acquire that studio.
Well, who's to say? But yeah, Project Loro, I think, is the working title. But do not sleep on Certain Affinity's new game. Like, I would say, whichever platform, publisher, whatever, ends up picking that up, and they're going to end up with the best FPS of whatever year it comes out. Like, hands down. That's shit.
Big praise.
That shit rocked.
Interesting.
So yeah, honestly, incredible time. So yeah, I'll shut up about Gamescom now unless there's any specific questions. But I know Top was asking something before we move on to other topics.
And he's an XboxEra executive producer, so
he is. We've got to pay this man some attention.
Where's the question?
I'm looking.
It's in private chat.
Oh,
it's in private chat. Yeah.
Top. Does that mean as press, did you manage to do everything you wanted to, or did you miss something?
No, I definitely missed things that I wanted to do. You know, press or not, there's tons of press outlets there, man, big and small, and we're still small. But I think it was a good first step, a good first time for XboxEra. And more than the games, I think the networking aspect of actually getting us out there in front of publishers and PR teams and the Xbox team, so they could meet and actually see some of the people behind what we do was just as vital to me as actually getting hands on with certain bits and pieces. So no, certainly didn't get to do everything I wanted to do. But hey, I'll be back next year and we'll see if we can make it even more refined and perhaps there'll be more of us. It would be really cool to be able to do. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Top. Thank you for your support of this endeavor. But you know what I really needed while I was out there more than anything else? I got real tired, man. I got real tired. It's like even the hotel, they did a good breakfast, but I needed something more, Nick. Do you have any suggestions?
Yes, I feel like Microsoft and Bethesda should have partnered with Control for their Starfield food drink, because then I reckon way more people would have enjoyed it then. So what Bethesda should do, and all of you should do, is go to www.drinkcontrol.com/XboxEra, use our code for 10% off, and then fill up all those Starfield This Is Food bottles with this stuff. And the talk of Gamescom would have been, man, what the hell's that Starfield drink? And like, well, it's Control. It's like the greatest food drink there is. But yeah, get some of this in. They'd love it. It's too good.
It's true. It's true.
Yep.
I can see 192 folks watching us in the chat at the moment. Don't forget to hit that like button, guys. It really is appreciated. And welcome As for Sid. I'm deliberately not saying assassin, even though I know that's what you mean. As for Sin, it's a whole different meaning if you look at it that way. Of becoming a new member. Hey, whatever floats your boat, my man. As for Sin.
Oh, look, a super chat.
Yeah, super chat from Rand. Nick, time to recreate the TikTok meme I sent you, bro. Let's see it. Oh my god. You know those TikTok AI memes where the girls and the guys act like NPCs? The NPC meme with like spicy that Rand is doing.
Oh god.
He found one of this dude. And let me send Jesse. I'll send Jesse the link of it. Because I'm not going to embarrass myself doing this.
What?
It's a guy who's basically simulating giving blowjobs.
Oh.
That's why I'm not going to do it. If you see it.
To practice.
The way he's doing it. It's so funny, the noises he's making. He's like, ice cream, ice cream. And he's like, he starts talking.
Is it like a twist lolly?
It starts off real normal. He's like, ice cream, I love you. Then he starts going through the whole video. It's so bad.
Oh God, why you make me watch that? That is horrifying.
Red sent that to me. Red sent that to me. And he's like, I was going, and he's making this noise. Oh my God.
He's thinking of you.
Jesus.
It was really cool to meet Jez and hang and chat with Jez for a bit. Jez is a cool dude. And I'll tell you what, Gaz. Yeah, Jez is a cool dude, man. He's a really cool guy. Very knowledgeable as well. And it was nice to have a catch up with Jez in the flesh. And Gaz, he's not as crazy as they all cracked him up to be. You know, he was very nice young man actually. Gaz. Do you know what really pissed me off though? Man's fucking 38. He's a year younger than me. He looks like he's just been sculpted out of marble and plopped out on a pedestal. Like there's clear skin, not a grey hair in sight. 38 years old. Fuck you, Gaz. Dear. Anyway, Gamescom, really cool. Don't bother if you're going to go on the public days because it's insane. Like the crowds, it's just nuts.
It would be.
Anyways, what other things have we been talking about? Should we talk about the news of the week? There's a lot. I'm going to talk about some things that were there. The Series X wraps, they did have some on display. They look real good in person, like real good. The Series X Starfield wraps, yeah.
The way they're described as the cloth outside, the rubber inside, and then the Velcro-y back to wrap it around. Like it sounds a step above the, printed vinyl stickers that most of the others make.
And I got owned on Twitter by the guy who was like behind those. Because I got a DM about those wraps like 2 years ago. And my guy thought that the prototypes for those wraps were on Phil's shelf. That's what he thought. But at the time, like the DM says, yeah, we're prototyping wraps for the Series X, like skins. But he thought they were magnetic, so maybe they were doing some magnetic prototypes, because these aren't magnetic, are they?
No, they're a Velcro-ish. It's probably best to keep magnets away from electronics when you can.
Yeah, because they must have been mucking around with magnetic ones as well. But he had told me about Xbox Series X skins like a couple of years ago, and he thought that the prototypes were on Phil's shelf. I've got the DM from 2 years ago where he mentions them. So when I saw the skins, I'm like, oh, wow, they must be the skins my guy mentioned. So I posted about that on Twitter and said, look, these were the prototypes of them on Phil's shelf. And the guy that owns them was like, no, they weren't. No, not the guy that owns the skins. The guy that made the little wooden Series X for launch. He's like, yeah, that's not the skins. That's this little wooden Series X thing that I made.
It made Resetera very happy to be able to shit on you for actually being wrong for once.
Yeah, for once. But, I mean, look, in the end, my guy was still right about the skins. I just never said anything about it 2 years ago. And I may never be able to again.
That's right. Got to keep you under control. I'm going to pick.
You can probably skip over the. Yeah, there's a lot of things we've already talked about too. So.
Yeah.
I will say those skins open the door though. Those skins open the door though, like the 360 days of having all different themed skins whenever a game comes out. You don't have to worry about making limited edition consoles, and you just
you
do one
think
of those
about
wraps.
it from a business aspect. Think about it from a business point of view. You don't have to change the production line to churn out, a different variant of the console. Right? You could just carry on going, but now you've got the flexibility to produce special editions on a whim. Hey, IP, boom. You got your favorite IPs? We'll just make skins for those IPs. Boom, boom, boom. You can have competitions to design them because it's just a simple layout. Man, hey, it's a cracking idea, and I think it's brilliant. And I hope that they do more of them and they really lean into it.
More camo.
I will say as well, and I don't want to give too much detail on this, but I did have a very good off the records conversation with some folks at Xbox about some really cool stuff as well. Where they, and I don't want to paint it in any particular way other than saying the reason the Xbox community is the best community and the reason I like the platform as much as I do is that every single person I met, from the top down, from all of the different departments, every single one of them gives a shit about what they make, what they put out, how we are finding it, what our feedback is. And they were open and they were asking those questions. And it was really valuable to be able to be direct and be like, hey, this is great. This kind of sucks. This could use improvement and so on, and actually have that feedback taken on board. Super cool time. But yeah, I agree with you, Nick. I think the Series X wraps and more are a really nifty thing. I don't think they're going to do something similar for the Series S though, for some reason. But I think we can.
The grill makes it awkward. The grill makes it awkward.
The grill makes it awkward. Real weak point there for the Series S. Starfield live action trailer came out while I was at Gamescom. Did you guys like it? It happened on opening night live, right?
It happened in a weird way when you're watching, because we did a co-stream of opening night live, and Keeley comes out and he's got this thing, and you're like, oh wow, that's really cool. And now he's going to talk to and then some weirdo comes up and is like, GTA 6, where's GTA 6? Who's been doing this on various German shows for years, and it's like, oh, completely forgot what I just freaking watched. This. Yeah. And man, he handled it well. He didn't karate kick the guy like I would have wanted to. He just kept the mic away so he couldn't get on camera, and was like, I'm very disappointed. Might
need to up the security at his shows, Geoff, I think.
He's going to start having snipers with trank darts. Just ready to...
That's twice now. That's twice he's copped it.
Well, the first time was... He wasn't around. It was just one person just acting like they belong there and sneaking up and then just hanging out for a while and then talking. This was literally just somebody walking... Yeah, this was somebody just walking straight up to the mic. It was a very good live action trailer and type of thing. Like, oh, I'd probably watch a show of that if they ever did it. And it's weird. The marketing has kicked off so much close to the game releasing. What a shocking development.
Yeah.
It's
and there's
almost
like
you don't need
the
to
right time to do it
6 months out.
And there are Series X everywhere in the US right now. You can get them on Microsoft's, Target, Best Buy, Newegg, Amazon, GameStop. Everywhere I look, Series X is in stock now, right before Starfield hits. It's kind of crazy.
We have a Starfield tram here in Melbourne. An entire tram wrapped in a big Starfield sticker.
Yeah, there were lots of Starfield poster ads all over Cologne as well. Very cool. Very cool. What else? We done age 4. Tekken 8 is coming out on January 26th.
Meh.
It's very pretty.
Cool. That's the end of that story.
Oh, I've never been a big Tekken guy. Like I was
like Tekken
Virtual
Bowling.
Fighter. Oh, Tekken Bowling is incredible. Tekken Bowling was the only reason I wanted Tekken Tag on PlayStation 2. Tekken Bowling is the best part of Tekken. Tekken Bowling is why I bought Tekken 7. Just for Tekken Bowling. Like, Tekken Bowling is so good. But Tekken, the fighting game, it kind of sucks. Like, I just...
Take it or leave
But
it.
again, I grew up on Virtua Fighter, and Virtua Fighter was just infinitely superior to Tekken. It's just always so much better than Tekken. So
It's just the way it is.
I was always Street Fighter for 2D, Street Fighter for 2D, Virtua Fighter for 3D, but KI, man, Killer Instinct, just holy shit,
It's back, baby. It's back.
Blows them all away. So good.
What else? Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 1 will run at 1080p everywhere except on Switch. Is that news?
Yeah, for a while people thought, well, at first it was 720p everywhere and people were flipping out. And then they're like, no, it's going to be 1080p. So it doesn't, you can emulate it and make it run and look infinitely better
4K
with the old versions. Yeah, so there's like, for the non-emulators, this will be nice, I guess. But for anyone who like really cares about and wants to play the old Metal Gear games, you can emulate them to way better looking resolutions.
I know, like these are old PS2 games and a PS1 game. There's no excuse for this, especially for the Switch. Like, that's disappointing. It is. Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 are fantastic games. 3, but But Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 are incredible video games.
And the points where you get to play 4, very good. But then you're mostly just watching 4 for 9.5 hours out of its 13 hours.
That's
4 is a 13 to 14 hour game, and 9 hours of it is cutscenes. I hate it. It drives me insane.
Metal Gear Solid 4, the game itself, the actual video game where you control Snake and shoot stuff, amazing. Metal Gear Solid 4 is fantastic. But the game is like, no, you're not going to play anything. I'm going to make you sit there like a bitch and watch all these movies. That's what Metal Gear Solid 4 does to you. But when it lets you, it's like The Order. The Order 1886 is the same. When you actually get to play The Order is great. But The Order's like, no, we made all these cool movies for you to watch because that's what our fans love, watching movies. So we're going to make you sit there and watch all these movies. It's like, man, your game's good. Let me play it. Anyway. Metal Gear Solid Collection is probably not worth... Yeah, anyway. It's disappointing. 1080p.
It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
Anyway. What else?
What else? I'm gonna skim around some of these. Some of these are bigger than others. PC Game Pass games started coming to Nvidia's GeForce Now.
19 of them.
Yeah. Said they would do it. They said they'd do it, and here they are. This one was interesting. BioWare was very fluffy in firing a bunch of people because they decided to unionize. Is that the gist?
So
of this
they
story?
fired a bunch. They fired 50 of their own employees, including a lot of the big names around Dragon Age, and then either canceled the contract or refused to renew the contract with another partner who had voted to unionize. So a twofer.
Yeah, but then they're
Why
like,
do EA wants to be hated?
Yeah, I know. They were doing so well lately. And they're like, oh, and by the way, Dragon Age might get delayed a little bit. It's like, yeah, because you just fired everyone. So there's no one working on it, you idiots.
They want to be more agile and smaller. And their statement they put out is just infuriating. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
Makes me cross.
It's a bit shitty.
Bit of a dick movie, eh? But there you go.
God, that's such I feel like that's a bit of a sliding doors moment. Like Microsoft probably could and should have bought BioWare back in the day. That's two studios Microsoft should have grabbed before EA did. BioWare and Respawn. Can you imagine now? Microsoft had Respawn.
BioWare, Respawn, and Bizarre Creations.
Yeah. But then who's to know? That was old Microsoft, so they might have shut them down by now.
Yeah, I mean, they would have been down. They probably would have been down to 5 studios, no matter what.
Yeah, probably.
I can see Sukia Brood's in the chat. I didn't know this. And I think next time I come to Cologne, I'm going to fly into Amsterdam, spend a couple of days there, and then come to Cologne via train, and then fly back from Cologne. But it's not that far. It's like a drive. So Sukia Brood, I'm here tomorrow morning. My flight's at 6 p.m. So if you want to come down and grab a coffee, I'll see you in Cologne some point, my bro. Because I know you're around this neck of the woods if you get time. Did anyone bring beans for Jez? I actually found a beans t-shirt in the store that I nearly picked him up. It was beautiful. It was pink and it said beans in the Friends style font. I thought it was perfect, but I didn't get it for him. I wasn't sure if he would appreciate it, and I didn't want to waste money. Okay, I think the last two big ones.
PlayStation Portal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is this for?
It's what we said.
Explain this
It's what we said. It is.
Right.
It's basically the PlayStation 5 Wii U gamepad that can be used remotely. That's the easiest way to describe it, and the layman way of describing it. It's a PS5 Wii U gamepad. That's what it is.
So
it's supposed to just do one thing. It only does remote play. Just does remote play. That is it. It's locked down otherwise. It doesn't work with regular Bluetooth headphones. It only works with their new PlayStation Link-ified audio headphone and earbuds. It can't do cloud. It supposedly has really bad battery life. We'll have to see if people can crack into it and hack it, and it's Sony made, so they probably will be able to. But yes, it's $200. Nice big screen, LCD.
Yeah.
It's pretty much just what we saw. It's the two halves of a controller glued to a tablet that is completely locked down.
So ugly.
Yeah, and it does have a headphone jack, so you can use any wired headphones, but you can only use PlayStation Link. Yeah.
Proprietary? Are you serious?
So it's pretty much, it's if you had the Wi-Fi Direct Xbox protocol, but no Bluetooth on these. That's what that is, pretty much.
Yeah.
No Bluetooth allowed.
Very dumb.
I know, like,
That's a very
we're making
product.
we're making this niche product that probably not too many people are going to buy. So you know what we should do with this niche product? Give it proprietary accessories, because that'll have it flying off shelves.
It almost feels like a thing to try and help sell their new $150 and $200 planar magnetic audio equipment. So the headset is $150, looks nice. The earbuds are $200 and they're planar magnetic, so they're probably that's actually a good value for something like that.
Yeah.
So maybe those seem like the good product, and then this seems more like, so this all feels like the PSVR 2, like a Sony initiative and not a PlayStation one, because PlayStation executives understand gaming really well. No matter how much you hate them or want a console war, all that, they get gaming. But PSVR 2, this weird ass device, these all things just feel like Sony things to try and keep pushing to get more money, because PlayStation's one of the only parts of their company that's doing really well. So
it's so ugly.
Yeah, it's a really weird device. So I don't understand why it exists.
If there's no reason to get
why it exists.
Well, yeah.
Really? You understand why it exists?
Yes.
Give me the pitch.
Yeah.
Sell me the elevator pitch.
What do you mean? But you're talking to a guy that liked the Wii U. I like the Wii U.
No. It's not a Wii U. You're not buying a console.
Well,
this is an add-on. You can only use this if you have the PS5, right? So
that's
what's
right.
the point of it?
Well, the Wii U gamepad can't be used without the console, can it?
Yeah,
it's literally the same thing.
But it came with as part of the cost of.
I know.
So this,
I know.
Yeah, it's the same functionality, and I get people who want to have remote play. Like there are people, they've got kids, they've got various things. It's for that. But as an actual product, something like the G Cloud is just way better, unless you really want haptics. That's the only thing I can think of, because with the G Cloud, when you're streaming from a console, if you're about half brightness, which is still pretty bright, and you're a little low in the volume, I got like almost 20 hours out of it. But then the reports on this one were 3 hours out of it.
Yeah, like, and you might not want to use your phone. You might want to leave your phone to be a phone. Like, I would buy this, although it looks like it's going to be very expensive in Australia, but I would buy something like this. I like the idea. Like, I'm going to Sydney in November, right? So I'll be doing the podcast in a hotel again.
I would say the same thing, though, Nick.
Like this. What?
Just do a G Cloud, because it can do everything. It can do GeForce Now. It can do X Cloud. It can do PlayStation Remote Play. It can do.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. I would take something like this with me to Sydney. So if I want to play something on PlayStation 5 specifically, I'd have this thing, and it would feel like a DualSense and have the haptics.
They are saying only use it within your own Wi-Fi network, because they can't promise how it's going to feel away from your house. Because you're not connecting to the cloud, you're only ever connecting to your console.
I know.
Like if you're,
I know how remote play works.
I know. I'm saying, but if you're pretty far away, it's gonna be noticeable lag.
I've always said this, and you can go back through every episode all the way back to number 1. I've always said this: remote play for me has always been fantastic, always has been. And now that I've got super good upload. Remote play for me, PlayStation remote play for me has always felt and performed incredibly, which is a part of the reason interstate, wherever, like it's always performed brilliantly for me. So that's a part of the reason this device appeals to me. So if this thing is out by the time I go to Sydney in November and I've bought one, I'll take it to Sydney with me, and I can play Rocket League via remote play. I mean, look, if the Switch 2 existed and could do Rocket League at 1080-60, then we'd have a different ball game. But for the time being, mate, that thing... Again, I don't know what it is about me.
They do sell the G Cloud in Australia.
Yeah. Like I said, I took my daughter tutoring once and had to sit in the car for an hour while she did tutoring. And I was remote playing on my iPad, and I was playing Fortnite via PlayStation Remote Play, and mate, it almost felt native. I don't know what it is about me and remote play, but it performs incredibly for me. It's just fantastic for me. I don't know why. I have no idea why. But it likes me.
Well,
PlayStation Remote Play likes me a lot.
One of the only things that likes you.
Yeah. Ironically.
I was considering doing the joke, but withheld. But thanks for coming through for me, Jesse. I guess the only two other really big bits of news, because I'm not going to worry about some of the other stuff here. Talk to me, because it happened while I was out, and I kind of read bits and pieces, and it was all very confusing. So the CMA, Activision Blizzard, acquisition stuff. This is what I understand. Is that Microsoft have sold or are agreeing to sell upon close the rights to cloud stream Activision titles, only cloud streaming Activision titles, to Ubisoft for 15 years in order to
any old game or anything released during that 15 years.
Yeah, in order to please the UK CMA so they could pass the deal. But then in a stunning turnaround, the UK, instead of saying, okay, this deal can now pass, is insisting they do a whole new phase 1 review of the new circumstances.
Yeah, nothing's really changed.
Timeline of like, okay, educate me here, because I read bits and pieces of this while I was out and about.
People are reading the way the whole timeline works, and it's all procedural. It doesn't really matter. Nothing's actually changed. All we know now is the concession they gave. So Ubisoft pays Microsoft a one-time fee per game, and they pay Microsoft per usage of games. So essentially what the CMA did was immediately make Xbox xCloud not cost Microsoft money as a money pit anymore, because Sarah Bond talked about during the trial how they lose money every time someone uses xCloud. And the European Union, the European Commission, their solution really helped small businesses like Ubisoft and all the other ones, because they would get a free license. They don't have to worry about it, all that. They just ask, they get it. That's still the case inside the EEA, which is the countries that the European Commission oversees. But now globally, everyone else has to go to Ubisoft and pay them to get a license for these games. So in the end, it's really good for Ubisoft. It's really good for Microsoft, and it completely fucks over smaller businesses because the CMA was desperate to get one over on the EU and cuck them. No, they wanted to get one over on the Commission. This doesn't hurt Microsoft. This helps Microsoft. Like, this immediately makes Microsoft a lot of money, and the CMA really wanted to get their own thing to show that they're important and that they can do it without the European Commission. And in the process of that, got a much worse deal.
Admittedly, this is Microsoft not so much waving the white flag a little bit on cloud, because obviously they were very, cloud is the future, cloud is this, cloud. This isn't them waving the white flag on cloud, but this is very much them admitting, okay, at the very least, this is them admitting that cloud's not going to be ready for quite some time.
It really pushes off their financial commitment, because now instead of them having to be the ones to grow it, it's going to be more on other companies and Ubisoft. And then in 15 years, if it grows up to be something really good, they can just swoop back in and say, all right, it's all ours again. Or they can just say, yeah, no, see, this never panned out. Who cares? That type of thing.
I know, but like I feel like they made a bad call on this in so much as they dedicated a lot of Series X consoles or hardware to those racks that could have been consoles in people's hands, all for them to just turn around now and go, Maybe we bet on the wrong horse with cloud.
Yeah, I am curious, like, how many did they? Because it's still never been like super high usage. Like, even the UK is only 5,000 people can do it. Like, it's nothing, nothing crazy.
Current 5,000, yeah.
Yeah. So
really.
And thank you, Faisal.
Yes, thanks, Faisal, for the random donation.
Yeah, thanks, Faisal.
Yeah,
let us know if you have something you want to say.
From a business perspective, this works out well for Microsoft. Like,
very.
It's a little bit funny though that like Ubisoft are paying Microsoft for Microsoft to pay Ubisoft.
Yeah, we don't know what
own games on xCloud.
Like, we have no idea what the terms are for. Well, it's not UK. It's everywhere, but where the European Commission covers.
It's
global.
It is global.
Yeah,
that's right.
So we have no idea what the terms of that are for because Microsoft's definitely going to have them. We just don't know what are they paying. Yeah. What like what's the fees?
Well, that doesn't matter to us.
Getting
really that part shouldn't matter to us. No. All that matters to us is can I eventually play Call of Duty on xCloud if I want to.
Yeah. And people were getting very mad because they thought it meant they weren't going to get the games on xCloud, and it doesn't change anything at our level.
No,
it just makes it worse for smaller companies, which is why it's so fucking dumb that they're doing it this way.
Now they have
to. Yeah, they now the smaller companies have to pay globally when they would have gotten it for free if they just had the EC deal. So
the CMA is dumb. We've seen that over the last year and a half.
Politically motivated and yes, dumb. Super irritating. But okay, so more timelines roll on October now, is it? Is that the new thing?
Yeah, it's October 18th is the date. It'll all be done. And even if the CMA does try to pull anything, they change their agreement, they can close it over them and just wait it out.
Oh, they changed the agreement to just close it.
It's done. People are super wrapped up in it, but it's just procedural now.
They're just being dickheads.
And I guess the last big piece of news. This is the last big thing that everyone was going crazy for, and then it was solved, and now people are going, oh, what does it mean? Baldur's Gate 3 was doing very, very well. It started off this whole conversation about the Series S was holding the gem back because Larian said, yeah, we're having trouble getting split screen. And Microsoft apparently have a parity feature clause, which says if you're going to release the game on Series X or on Xbox, the feature set has to be the same across both its little brother and the big brother. And the solution is, just ship the Series S version without split screen. No worries.
Yeah.
And then Stein came out and said they're still going to be working with Larian to get split screen on Series S if possible.
Yeah.
So
that means it can come out this side of the year, right?
Yeah, they said it's coming out this year, and I think we've talked before where they've got their big launch on PC, where most people reviewed it, never really talked about Act 3, and Act 3 is buggy as shit. So it's really funny that it's been called the most polished release of the year, when if you actually get deep into Act 2, and especially Act 3, it is very buggy, and it's also extremely buggy in split screen, like really bad buggy. But they've got their big PC early access to full release launch. A month later, they've got PlayStation 5 right at the same time as Starfield, so they've got a big console to themselves launch, and now later in the year, they've got a big third launch when people are further away from Starfield and other things. It always made sense to do it like this, and people just lost their minds trying to read more into it. Yeah, this is by far the smartest release window that they could have done.
No, what people are losing their minds over, I understand what the controversy is about. Like it's fine. Like, split screen's not as common as it once was back in the day, so it's not a huge deal losing it, especially on a game that it's not like Baldur's Gate is like famous for its split screen gameplay like Halo was.
No.
And so it's fine that Baldur's Gate can now come to Xbox sooner. The issue is, there's the parity clause, which they've now bent the rules for. So we're now staring down the rabbit hole a little bit of, are developers going to start finding ways. This is what it's ultimately about. People are now working under the assumption that our developers now going to find ways to get around the Series S by intentionally withholding stuff to get the rules bent for parity.
No.
I guess it depends on how businesses want to make money. Oh, do we want to withhold it for probably the console that sold the most in the Xbox camp?
The way it always sounded with Larian was they really wanted in there, in the very specific way they do it, where it's not server-based and it's more you have to render the game twice fully. Like there's no online to the way they do it is very memory intensive. Like it's a very specific thing where you've got one of the biggest games of the year for one very specific thing was holding off, and Xbox is like, no, you can just put it out without that and then work it in later. Maybe we'll work with you on it. It's not going to be the same for most games, plenty of which are still coming out on PS4 and Xbox One, insanely. Like, I wish we could talk more about Series S things. We'll talk about it later when we can. But like, there are things about this situation that it like Larian never talked and said it was impossible. They never said they couldn't, and this is the first time they're trying to release everything at once, because normally Divinity Original Sin came out and a year and a half or a year later, the console ports hit. And the same thing with Original Sin 2. Like, this is the first time they were trying to do it all at the same time, and it was by far their biggest project. And they couldn't. It just made more sense to spread it all out. Like, so the messaging from them around why it was delayed was very truncated and short. People ran with the split screen being impossible narrative instead of we can make it work. It's just going to take some time. Like it's been a very annoying thing where I get creators and influencers not going to them and asking, but even the media not going to them and just clarifying it most of the time. And instead just running with, well, this game's extremely polished, yet they can't get it out on Series S. It's like Act 1, which they had it live in public for 3 years, is very polished. Act 2, pretty polished. Act 3, which you should have played if you reviewed it, not polished at all. So it's like you see all these older videos, and like I love Destin, he was a great guest on here and he's very nice. But like his video about how it's super polished, and it's like, no, it's just as buggy as any other big release. It just is later on in a very long game.
It's been out for a very long time on PC, in early access and in game preview or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, he said the reason why it's not coming to Xbox is the split screen issue and the parity thing, but he didn't say it couldn't. It was just more a thing of resources, and they get it out on PC first. Where they want to put all their resources, go to the biggest platform with PlayStation 5. Other than that, that's where all their resources go, and then they would have been able to do. He never said it was impossible. It was just a resource allocation thing. And they're on DirectX 11, even though DirectX 12 has been out for like 6 or 7 years or something. It's really weird. I don't know. It's very complicated, and people try and just make it very black and white when there's a lot more to it.
Yeah. I want to call out something. And thank you, Jesse, for the extra background on it. Slightly off tact, but I just wanted to highlight this because, I'm always conscious of it. I saw someone comment in the chat, how come comments are turned off for the Armored Core 6 review? They're not. They're turned back on now. Why were they turned off? Because children don't know how to behave, frankly. Look, in any review situation, you have one person's opinion on a game. If you don't agree with that opinion, good news. Go find a reviewer you do agree with. Just not give anybody the excuse to start hurling personal insults and frankly just being a dick just because you don't like the score one person gave a video game.
And I'll happily say, Cassie, here's the thing. 6.5 isn't exactly an outlier. This is the thing. Like if 6.5 was like, how every big game has like an outlier where every outlet's in, say, 7 to 9, and then someone rolls up with a 3 or a 4. 6.5 isn't an outlier for Armored Core 6. So
there's 7 people below me, and there's 7 people right around me. That's not what an outlier is.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like 6.5 is not an outlier. So while I understand Cassie's comments if they were applying to an outlier review, 6.5 is not an outlier review for Armored Core 6. That's where his argument falls apart a little bit.
And even then, it's just an opinion. It's one person's opinion. There's no, you should have, it should have scored like this. Well, for you, yeah, that's fine. That makes sense. It scored that for you. It doesn't for the other person. That's also fine.
The end.
Yeah.
I don't align with your views. Okay. That's it. That's the end of the conversation. Go watch a different review.
This isn't the 4 out of 10 for Forza Horizon 4 or whatever it was that IB Times gave and said that Playground are clearly tired of doing Forza Horizon games.
Oh man, that was a classic.
That's an outlier where people will just go bang. Because everyone was giving Forza Horizon 8+, and then there was this one dude that gave it a 4 and talked about the fact that Playground hates making Forza Horizon games. That's an outlier. So his comments would apply more in an instance like that, as opposed to
rewind
our Armored Core 6 review.
Pegasus Killer, rewind the damn conversation 5 minutes, bro, and listen again. and don't be silly. Anyway.
Also, who's Jesse with an I? I don't have an I in my name.
Jesse James.
Yeah. That's the more traditional spelling of Jesse.
Yeah, go have a look, Pegasus. We just literally had that conversation. No offense, my man. There's plenty of other little bits and pieces that have happened throughout the day. Phil did a bunch of interviews talking about how this Starfield is the starting gun. I don't really pay much attention to these because I've heard that conversation.
That was the chief marketing officer who said
marketing officer. Yes, sorry, you're right.
Yes,
yeah, it was.
But why is Starfield the starting gun?
Well,
because everything. You've seen the coverage. So it was really good with Hi-Fi Rush. It was really good with Halo. It was really good with Forza Horizon 5.
That's right.
Psychonauts 2. But then people have not been able to let go of Redfall so much that they just ignore it and hate everything else. And so now...
No, that's fine. But Redfall's the one bad game amongst a bunch of quite good games. Like Halo.
What have you done for me lately?
For all the crap Halo gets, and a lot of it rightfully so, it's still sitting at an 87 on Metacritic. Which is, the same as games like Spider-Man and Horizon Zero Dawn, which apparently are like, oh my god, GOAT games, depending on who you ask. So for all the crap Halo gets, it's an 87 on Metacritic.
Halo's problem was not having a live team at launch that killed the
I know, but to call Starfield the starting gun when there's already been pretty good first-party games well before then. There's Flight Sim. There's why is Starfield the start? I would take issue with that and say, well, no, Halo was probably the starting gun. Really?
Yes, but I think you had Halo and then you had 2022, which was very
empty.
It was smaller. Yeah.
It wasn't. It didn't have any of the big hoo-ha tentpole releases. It had little.
This
things
is the AAA
stuff.
But the games that came out were good. Isn't Pentiment like high 80s?
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, Nick. I think they're just making that differentiation between their smaller titles and their big plan of 1, 2, 3, 4 games a year. A big tentpole. From Xbox.
It's not even the four games a year thing they've already been doing. They've got like 10. They technically are publishing like 10 things this year. Like it's but they're big tentpole every quarter is what they were. I think he's talking about more than anything.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway,
it's marketing. It's to hype people up with marketing.
Yeah, and I'll take the opportunity to hype some people up as they're talking about reviews and things like that. For those that want the best Starfield coverage going, on the day you can expect Starfield review, which I know is probably, I think, the longest review ever. Alongside that, you can expect plenty of PC settings ultra gameplay for you to fish your eyes upon. You can expect plenty of Series X gameplay to feast your eyes upon. You can expect plenty of Series S gameplay to feast your eyes upon, as well as some deep dives into things like traits and classes and stuff like that, right? Jesse, keep me honest. That pretty much.
See you later, pong, pong, pong. Boop. Bye-bye. Yes, so review, extremely long. It's an hour and 50 minutes or so of Series X footage at 4K 30. I captured a 4K 60, but it runs at 30. Then I've got 35 minutes of Series S footage, which I captured at 4K, but obviously it renders lower than that. Got about an hour of PC max settings, and then every trait and every background videos. I'll look into maybe doing more. I'm not gonna set the premiere live now, but I've got the review done, dusted, uploaded, ready to go. Pre-drag's making the page look incredible. Oh my god, it already looks so good on the website. So yeah, we're gonna have a lot. I'm gonna spend the rest of the week, because my upload sucks and I probably can't stream anymore. I'm gonna spend the rest of the week just looking into doing more articles. We'll have 6 videos on the day. Maybe we'll have some more after that. But yeah, we've got a lot of Starfield coverage coming.
Yeah. Should be good.
Have we stopped talking about Phil's interview?
We can talk about
Phil. He did have a lot of interviews. Is there anything particular you wanted to
He had that major one. He had that major one with Eurogamer.
That was the best one.
Where he mentioned a bunch of stuff. They talked about Baldur's Gate, and they talked about all this other stuff. One thing I did find interesting, they talked about the 360 store closing down. And something I found odd in this. He talked about the fact that there's 220 games that aren't backwards compatible from the 360. That number sounds way too low. Didn't the 360
that aren't on other platforms, is how I took it. 220 like Xbox exclusives that you can't get other places is what I thought he was talking about.
Oh, because I thought that
he was
number
talking about
sounded
overall
low. I'm like,
preservation.
Yeah, because the 360 had thousands of games, and there aren't thousands of backwards compatible titles.
Yeah.
So I found that number odd. I'm like, 220. Well, that 220 number should go down a little bit more when ABK closes.
But even something like X-Men Origins Wolverine was on other platforms like PlayStation 3, so you can also always emulate all of it just fine, but there are things like the Xbox Live Arcade releases that really weren't anywhere else. So, and one of them, Alien Hominid HD, got announced coming to everything, which is cool.
Yeah.
Great, but brutally hard game. Like, have you ever played Alien Hominid?
Mm-hmm.
It is.
I don't think I have.
Evil.
I played Castle Crashers. But not Alien Hominid.
It's gorgeous, much like a lot of Behemoth's games, but really, really hard. Or at least I found it hard. Maybe that means I suck. Maybe I should go into games journalism.
No, their games were hard.
I like that.
That's what I was told I suck.
Phil goes, the work on the 360 storefront was really just about the hardware and the lifespan of the hardware. We know how many people are playing 360 games on the 360. It's a pretty small community. The community of buyers is very, very small. That's probably just me. That's probably why he said it's very, very small. It's probably just me and like 2 other people that are still buying games on their actual 360 console. My Reach 360 is still set up, and I've still bought games. So it's probably just me and a couple of other dudes that are still buying games on 360. Anyway.
Anyway.
It's funny. Is that it for the news?
That's it for the news, my man.
Yeah.
I might take this opportunity. Hey, everybody watching right now, do your man a favor and hit that like button. I'd really appreciate it. Hit that like button. Hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. We need the love in the algorithm. And for all the people that downvoted the Armored Core 6 video, thanks. That really helped us out. Is it time for name game?
No, I think it's about to be. One thing I do want to mention, while I don't have a rumor mill, I did notice lately on Twitter. I check my Twitter notifications every day because I have them turned off. But I check them every day, and I've noticed in the last couple of days there was an old tweet that just kept getting retweeted all of a sudden and liked, and it's the one about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in Fortnite.
Oh, really?
Why is this tweet coming back up in my notifications? Well, apparently, it looks like there's a few little clues that the Turtles might be coming to Fortnite soon. There's a few little... I've found a couple of other tweets that point to the idea that the Turtles might be coming to Fortnite soon. Big encrypted PAK, mysterious fungus ninja set, Fall Guys recently got TMNT, Pizza Party will be unvaulted soon. So yeah, there's some signs pointing to the Turtles. Fine. Oh god, if and when that happens, oh boy, gonna have to buy some V-Bucks when the Turtles. Because I'm gonna buy all 4 Turtles. I'm not gonna just have the one. You have to have all 4.
You're going to have an intervention eventually.
Like, you have to have all 4. I almost bought Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator. I was this close to buying Arnie in Fortnite.
Right.
I was so close. Like, oh man. I need to see that Turtles movie. You know it hasn't come out in Australia yet? It does not come out till the 7th of September in Australia. Everyone cares.
Completely off topic.
Everyone
saw something funny. Microsoft's removed the preload files that let you play Starfield if you have a physical copy early. They'll probably add them back right close to launch. Yeah. So unless you had already downloaded them, and I bet you if you have them and if you play with it, you might run the risk of getting banned.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, because there were people playing it and leaking it, and so they're like, okay, those files are now. Bring them back later.
Oomph. Good luck.
Interesting.
Brutal.
Do we have a buzzing code?
Even if you buy a physical disc, they can still fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, hey, chat, it's time for Name a Game.
It is. We just need a buzzing code.
Hello. Buzzing code's in private chat. This is Name a Game, the game where I come up with a category randomly, get a bunch of video game names, and then make synonym fake versions of those games that John and Nick have to get correct. And if whoever gets to 3 first wins a potential Xbox game for one of our patrons, if that patron ever responds to or contacts me.
It's true. It's true. And Patreons are very important to us. This is a good perk.
Yes. NRXic makes a good point in the chat, though. He said, Nick, thank you for funding all the new features in Unreal Engine. See? Everything I do is to help all of you and all of gaming worldwide.
And feed your horrendous addiction to NFTs equivalents.
All those cool Unreal Engine features that you all get to enjoy. It's all me. I pay for that. That's all. You're welcome. You're welcome, everyone.
How magnanimous of you.
Thanks, Nick.
Yeah. Gears 6 is going to be the most amazing looking game ever because of me. Because of me. You're welcome. All of you.
All right. The category for this week.
Wait.
Yeah, go.
If you want to become a Patreon member and be in with a chance for Nick or I to play for you in a Name a Game, you can head to patreon.com/XboxEra, pledge your support, and with any luck, we'll pick you. Who are we playing for this week, Nick?
Where's my notes? I am playing for Night Blue, and John is playing for Zahid Hussein.
Okay.
Good luck, Night Blue.
Good luck, both of you.
Eat it.
John barely ever wins. It's very late for him.
What's the topic this week?
The topic this week are games showcased at Gamescom 2023.
Oh shit!
So only games at Gamescom. Okay.
There have been about 200 games shown at Gamescom, Nick.
Yep, and I know none of them.
Yep. Oh, you know Alan Wake too.
Yeah.
All right.
And party animals.
Okay, number 1. Get it in there. Is shielded nucleus hexagonal conflagration of endpoint.
Oh shit! Shielded
Hexagonals representing
nucleus.
a number.
Yes, and I know the number.
I mean, that should just give it away. Sick.
It's something 6.
Armored Core 6.
Armored Core 6.
Fires of the Rubicon.
Correct.
Fires of Rubicon, not the Rubicon.
You were not getting that pedantic.
Why is Rubicon endpoint? Why is
That's
Rubicon
what it means.
endpoint?
Because that's what it means.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah. Yes, Nick, it does.
I knew it was
You don't know what
something
words
6.
mean.
I don't know why I did think of Armored Core. Armored Core
in honor
6.5.
of my beloved review this week, I had to get it out there.
Armored Core 6.5.
6.0 from a bunch of other sites. I wonder if they all got attacked too. All right.
Armored Core 6.5.
The next one.
From games suck, by the way.
No, they don't.
All of them do. All of them suck.
Eat shit. No, they don't, Nick. The next one, with Sika Mechanico in the lead as I clear the buzzer, don't yell at me, is Chaser 2.
Oh no. No, that's not the game I was about to say. I was about to say Ghost Runner 2.
Hey, Brit
But
got
it's
it.
not that. I was about to say Ghost Runner 2. Chaser 2. Chaser.
Brit got it. That means John's going to read shit and know it.
Games at Gamescom. Oh, wait. No, hold on. Wait.
Nick,
Stalker 2.
correct.
Phil played Stalker.
Oh,
Yeah.
small pause. Stalker 2. I did play Stalker 2. Do you want to know my thoughts on it, or shall I save this for
Yeah, go ahead.
afterwards?
No,
My
quickly.
thoughts. So very, very briefly. Stalker 2, played it. There's only a PC playable build. The devs were actually there. So obviously massive kudos to them considering the pressures they're under in the environment they're in trying to build and ship a game. Doesn't look as pretty as it did in all of the release trailers. And I think that this is going to cause a problem for them. When you play it...
We need to know, we need to let people know that graphical touch-ups are normally the very last thing.
That's true, right? So it didn't look as pretty, right? It felt a bit rough. And here's the rub. In the trailers, you get the impression it's a really slick, super high graphical fidelity AAA shooter with some horror elements, right? Now, if you're a Stalker fan, you know that this is, a Stalker game, and there's RPG elements, and it's there's a lot of survival stuff and
Hard as
When
hell.
you actually play it, there was lots of the standard menu of you've got the slots and the gun takes up this many squares and you've got this much to carry, and when you get shot,
I'm out.
it didn't really tell you were bleeding out, and then
It's the least Nick game of all time.
It is the least Nick game of all time. Look, I've got to give the developers kudos. They were uploading that build that morning before we came in through the doors. It worked. It was a fun 15-minute demo. Atmosphere was really cool. Still a bit rough around the edges. I know they've said Q1. I hope it's late Q1, gives them as much time as they need to get it out.
I'm guessing this is probably a lot of times. These are older builds that are stable and a part that they want versus where they are and all that stuff. Like even with Forza, you're not playing it most likely because we just have this very small thing that we consider done enough to showcase and give to people for footage.
The biggest weird thing for me that it's a really silly thing to be annoyed about was the voice acting.
Oh, you never play those in English.
I get it.
Play them in
Russian. Why do people care?
Well, the voice acting that was on display was all in English, and it was just like
no, never.
It was
Metro games. So, like the Metro games, if you play them in English, you're playing them wrong. It's going to be terrible, and it's also because people like stories, Nick, and we don't skip cutscenes because we enjoy the experience of the game, unlike your weird ass, which cannot. All right, next one is. If I can find my mouse, it is. I'm gonna click it and then clear the buzzer, baby. It is acoustical excellent - luminaries.
Acoustical
so excellent luminaries is one word, yeah?
That's why it's got the hyphen. Yep.
Yep. Can I Google games that were showcased at Gamescom?
Absolutely not.
No.
If they're shown at Gamescom, Nick, they're coming out between now and early next year. Or they came out within the last couple months.
I know these words. I just because I don't know the games that were at Gamescom.
Think of anything that's come out within the last 3 months that's scheduled through the end of this year or Q1 2024. That's the type of stuff that's at Gamescom.
Can I have a genre? Can I have a genre, please, Jesse?
There are platforming elements in this game. The platform.
Cool. So it's something. Oh, what's that one called? What's that? Not Plucky Squire. Is it?
Nick.
Is it Plucky Squire?
No.
No.
John, you're gonna have 10 seconds. Do you have a guess?
No, I haven't got a clue. I'm gonna kick
Sonic Superstars.
I can't believe I didn't get this. I can't believe I didn't get this. Sonic Superstars.
Correct. It would have been.
Sonic Superstars. God! How did I not get that?
Nice.
I love when you don't get the games that you are most excited about. I put it in there for you. All right, we're still tied at 1.
I'm thinking sound. Jesus.
All right, tied at 1.
I don't know why.
The next one is
the Squire thing got me.
Heir - apparent of Xerxes' Empire, the misplaced peak.
I know this. I just don't know the second part. I don't know the second part to it. What's it?
You can't Google it.
What? Oh, I just need to remember the second part. I know the first part. I can't remember what the second part is.
Sick.
It's the new Prince of Persia game.
I'm going to guess it. It's going to be Prince of Persia and the Lost Mountain.
Incorrect.
There you go.
I can't remember.
Oh, what is it?
The second part to it.
Starting the timer. You got 10 seconds to try and remember, Nick.
I can't. Well, you won't let me Google it, so I don't know. I can't remember the second part of it.
You can't Google any of this.
I don't know. Prince of Persia, the missing something. I don't know.
The Lost Crown.
The Lost. Yeah. Okay. I was about to say the Lost something. Damn it.
Still tied at 1. 2 in a row. No one got. The next one is one word, hyphenated. Steeple - ferried. The actual word is 1. The game is 1 word. Steeple ferried.
Steeple ferried.
Mm-hmm.
Steeple like a steeplechase?
No.
Steeple ferried. Steeple ferried.
Someone got it in chat immediately. Immediately they got it. No hesitation.
Steeple ferried.
When I think of steeple, I think of a steeplechase.
Think of church.
Still means nothing to me.
What would be another word for a steeple at a church? What act is a ferryman doing with his passengers?
Tower.
Is it Towerborne?
Correct.
Nice.
Why is
Towerborne.
ferried born?
No.
Why is
born your
ferried
passenger.
Born as in you. I have born you. BORNE. Born.
Nick's
Works,
lack of
ferried,
English
carried,
knowledge.
Born.
Okay.
The most competitive person. All right, Sicka Mechanico. Oh, I gave the point to Nick. I got to change that. Go away. I'm petting my cat right now, and she's knocking my hand all over the place, trying to get me to pet her more.
I haven't seen my cats in a week. I really miss my cats. I hope they're alive still.
Take my cat.
See, I wasn't lying.
No, yeah.
You can take
Oh,
my
wow.
cat.
Puss.
That's JoJo and
I already got two. That's enough.
Oreo's right over there. Oh, we got two. All right, next one for the potential win. Hyphenated. The actual answer is one word. Is angry-dogs. John is up 2-1. Angry-dogs.
Does the buzzer need clearing?
I literally can't see it. Okay. Yes, there, sorry. Cat's directly in front of it.
Angry dogs. Dingoes.
This is.
Sicka Mechanico.
This is. Oh fuck! What's the name of it? Fuck. I just realised it was something really stupid, and I don't think it's this.
I got a couple seconds. Come on, you buzzed.
Oh no! It's not that because it's like 3 words.
Yep, not one word. All right, John does not know.
No, I'm
Nick,
out.
do you know?
No.
It is
Angry
hyenas from Sega. Hyenas.
Why
Is
are
it from
angry dogs
Sega or
hyenas?
Ubisoft?
I thought hyenas was Sega. It doesn't matter. Hyenas is a game anyways.
Why is angry dogs hyenas?
They're angry dogs.
I thought Hyenas
Are they?
was Ubisoft. Is it Sega?
No, it's Sega. Yeah, it's Sega.
How was I not paying attention to that? Is
I don't
that
know. Are you thinking of X Defiant?
Probably could have thought of
No, I don't
something
know
better
why.
than angry dogs.
Well, hyenas are more laughing dogs.
Yeah, if anything, they like laugh.
Yeah.
They're pretty
They're
angry.
laughing dogs.
You're thinking of the goddamn Lion King. They're angry, mean dogs.
No, but they make that noise where they sound like they're laughing.
Yeah, it's too easy. I'm not gonna.
That's
make it
why.
easy for
That's why
you.
Ed was always laughing in The Lion King. It's a true
Mhm.
story.
Mm.
You guys just thinking of Lion King. Shut up. The next one is potentially for the win again. The Meandering Town. I literally can't see
Wandering
who
Village.
buzzed because of my cat. Okay. Is it
It was me. Wandering Village.
correct? Sicka Mechanico wins. The Wandering Village. An Xbox
Oh,
Game
yeah.
Pass game. An
It is
Xbox Game Pass game that Nick doesn't give a shit about because it's not on Nintendo. Your hatred of this platform will be the death of us. All right, for fun, I got 3 more. The first one being Beneath the Whitecaps.
Again, I don't know any of the games that were shown at Gamescom. Below the something?
This game's coming out
Under the
refresh the
9
buzzer?
days, 10 days. Oh yeah, sorry, I literally can't see it because of my cat.
Uh,
Game is coming out in 10 days and well, less. 5 days.
is
another
is
game-
Genghis doing the review of it?
No, that wouldn't make any sense for Sea of Stars.
Oh, okay. That's what I was like.
We are not reviewing this one.
See,
just don't
that's
have-
it's not
okay.
Sea of Stars, is it?
No. If neither of you know, I will just say it is Under the Waves. Being
Oh,
published
okay.
by... Well, Nick's probably never heard of it, but it's being published by the shithead French guy. This company. Quantic Dreams. They're not making it, but they're publishing it. Okay, how about
Gotcha.
this one? 2 more. 1 word. Celebrity-Meadow.
Starfield.
Nick. Correct.
Nice. That's good.
Okay. And then this is the one I leave for the end because it's the dumbest. Though some of the other ones are pretty dumb. It is infinitesimal-weak peregrination emulator.
Peregrination emulator?
Infinitesimal weak hyphen peregrination emulator. Infinitesimal-weak peregrination emulator. Brit is not Peppa Pig, I'm sorry.
Peregrination.
Nick.
Microsoft Flight Simulator?
Correct. Peregrination's about traveling.
Okay. I just
Well
thought
done.
Peregrine Falcon.
I couldn't do Tiny Squishy again, so I want to try something.
Once again. I got it. I got them all after it's already over. I'm disappointed in myself about the Sonic one.
Yeah, I threw that one in for you as a layup.
The Sonic one, I'm so disappointed in myself.
Me too. I'm disappointed.
I
don't know how would I do Peppa? Peppa Pig.
Well, salt and pepper.
Is
so it's something to do with pepper.
No refreshing because that breaks up the MP3. Also, you have to keep this open after we're done
I'm not doing it.
Finish uploading. But yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know.
I closed it last week.
Well, you're done. You were done already, but you are supposed to make sure you stay until it's done.
Oh, okay. Thanks for telling me now.
Yeah, if you click that recording button, you'll see.
Do you know who I bumped into? I was literally walking through one of the business halls, and I bumped into a good friend of ours in person, and I gave him a big hug. 10 points if you can guess who it is. I'll give you a clue.
Thomas Sala.
Crazy hair. Yeah.
Thomas Sala.
I saw a ball work ad, and I was walking past, and I saw him there, and he was chatting to two dudes, and I just stood behind him like this, and he was like looking, and he caught my eye, and he went, "Oh!" We just gave each other a big hug. That was very cool.
I'm going to have to come to one of these shows eventually.
You know what's funny? Gamescom is further for you than E3. It's like 8 hours longer. It's a ridiculous flight. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'll probably try and go to E3 next year, or Summer Games Fest, or whatever. I need to try and go next year.
To be honest, the amount of people, like I feel like this is super central Gamescom. And if Xbox could just do their showcase at the same time Gamescom's on, and have FanFest when here, it would be way cooler. Selfishly,
I'll try go to
Games Fest,
Summer Games Fest next year, and then I'll try and find all the Xbox execs and abuse them. See
if Geoff will fly you out as a big, powerful influencer, man.
You won't even reply to my DMs on Twitter.
I
still don't know why he followed me. It's because
of your spicy leaks, bro. It's the spicy leaks.
Like how I leaked Torment 2. That was pretty funny.
100%.
I didn't even know what Torment was until someone's like, Torment 2's coming. You might want to tease it. I was like, I don't know. I've never heard of Torment. And people were like replying to me on Twitter going, yeah, you should try Torment. I'm like, I've never heard of Torment, guys. I'm clearly just teasing that Torment 2 is about to be announced. Anyway.
If you are considering coming to Gamescom, just make sure you can go as trade or press or content creator. Do not bother going on the public days. So that's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It just ain't worth it. Just saying.
Yeah. Anyway.
Final segment.
Anyway.
Thanks,
it's
patrons,
that time of the show where
for being our patrons.
Finally get to thank our patrons. If you are a fan of XboxEra and all of the hard work that we do, you can support us directly on Patreon by going to patreon.com/XboxEra and pledging your support. As little as a cup of coffee a month means that these three handsome rogues continue doing what we're doing along with the rest of the team in producing excellent video game related content for you to consume and enjoy. So you should probably do that because like we're totally worth like a latte at least. Like maybe Nick's worth like a caramel frappuccino if you really like Nick.
I'm worth
hey,
that
really
$200 coffee, that imported $200 coffee.
The one that's been shat through a bat and picked out of bat feces.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah. Guano coffee. But yeah, as part of the perks of being a Patreon member, in the certain tiers, you get access to the Patreon Lounge where you can post community questions, which we are going to go through now. I'm looking at the list, Jesse, and the first two, or Nick rather, the first two are kind of one and the same. Do you want to read both out, and then I can just answer?
Okay. The Ash Cohen 09. Jon, which games have you played at Gamescom that's made you really excited for? And this, I mean, Jon talked about this earlier, but Rug Brew, so this is like a twofer. Hi there, Max Hoberman posted on Twitter that Certain Affinity will show their new game project, Loro, behind closed doors at Gamescom. He said it was their new FPS game. After all the reports, or rather rumors, of a Halo BR and their version of a Monster Hunter game, is Project Loro that Monster Hunter style game but as a first-person shooter? Or is it an entirely new third game in development? If it is a third game, Certain Affinity is bigger and or more efficient than I thought, or could it mean that one of the two other games might be close to release and teams are shifting to Project Loro now? Jon is muted. Like, seriously. Why are you muted?
Game that it's the first time, the whole show. The game that I enjoyed the most out of all the games I played at Gamescom, funnily enough, was Project Loro. Yes, it is a new FPS game. I can't speak to about the rumors that you there mention because I don't know. And I can't answer much more than that. I can't tell you, anything detail-wise. But I can tell you, per my tweet yesterday, on speaking to the Certain Affinity team, the build that I played was built in 7 months. And what I played was awesome. So, when you ask Certain Affinity is more efficient than you thought, yeah, maybe you're pretty much bang on the money. Can't speak to anything else in that question, but yeah, Project Loro genuinely was a really cool experience.
And Project Suerte was supposed to be the Monster
Hunter one.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Anorexic. A question for all you esteemed gentlemen, but also the live audience. Quake 2 features 8-player split-screen play. How many Xbox One/Series controllers do you own? There are over 20 Xbox games that feature 6 to 8-player support. It's too bad that the Xbox isn't being considered the couch multiplayer console. How many controllers do I own? Elite Core, Elite, Forza Horizon, Starfield, Luna, Titanfall, Halo Elite, Hyperkin Duke, and they're just mine. My kids have their own. My kids have their own Design Labs ones, and I've got a few others. But in terms of my 20th anniversary, yeah, I've got 8 or 9 controllers. Xbox controllers.
I've got 8. I think I've got 8 across all of the different ones. I've got the Sea of Thieves one, a grey one, a white one, 2 black Series X ones, a white Series S one, my Forerunner controller, and 2 Elite pads.
So I've got,
and I've also got the one that came with my Halo console. Does that count?
Yeah, if you have a controller, it counts. I got the one that came with my Series X.
I agree.
The Scuff I'm reviewing, my Core 2, then Redfall.
Your Redfall shield one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, getting that a week or two after my review is why I ended up
bumped up
traveling.
The score
I traveled back in time to put my score up.
Bumped up the score a little bit.
And remember, any score you give on another game completely influences and matters for a completely different game and a different genre.
And because I don't like From Games, I logged into WordPress afterwards, and I changed Jesse's score to 6.5 because I don't.
I know. I had it at an 8. I had it at a 9.5.
Jesse had it at 9.5, and I knocked it down 3 points after the fact because I hate From Games.
Yep. You were getting paid by the anti-From Mafia to do so.
Yep. So that was revenge because of all the crap I copped for Jesse's Redfall review. Now Jesse's copying crap for me changing the Armored Core 6.5 review score to 6.5. Mate, there's no From here. Here, there's no From. From, no. Yes, but the Xbox should be the couch multiplayer console. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has like 6 or 7 or 8 player couch co-op. And isn't that ironic that Quake 2 has 8-player split screen, yet here we are talking about the Series S holding back like split screen gaming?
I know. It's stupid, isn't it?
Doesn't the Series S have 8-player split screen as well for Quake 2?
I think so. I think the reason it's limited on others is because you can only have so many controllers on them, and you can have up to 8 on an Xbox.
There you go. I guess PlayStation and Switch are holding back couch co-op gaming.
One thing Phil did say is they didn't do split screen in Forza essentially because no one really uses it. It wasn't worth focusing on that. They wanted to focus on. You can't say no. They literally said they didn't do it on anything because no one uses it.
Golden rule, and I say this all the time: execs say what they need to say when they need to say it.
Most games don't have
that
split
applies
screen
to
because
everyone.
It's barely used.
That applies to everyone, even Phil. They say what they need to say.
Most games don't have split screen because no one uses it.
It's a fast car in John's background. Is that because your hotel is near the Autobahn and everyone's going really, really fast nearby?
It's a small city, and there are some very loud.
Cologne? Are you in Cologne right now? It's not answering my question.
Yep, he's sick of you.
Good old Cologne. Okay, Jesse brother. What's up, gentle people? John, hope you're enjoying the fatherland. Nick, how are you? Jess, I can admit I saw your review already for Starfield, and don't worry, I'm smart enough not to say anything about your sentiments. But I can say the review was well done, as was your review for Armored Core 6.5. You totally convinced me that the game is not for me, so cheers. Yeah.
I know
it is a From game. It is a From game, so it makes sense that it wouldn't be for him.
And if you are into Armored Core, it's by far the best one they've made. Because if you like that gameplay loop,
yeah,
it's that gameplay loop, but with better gameplay than they've ever had before.
It's just that Armored Core 6.5 is the best house in a terrible street. That's all. It's the best house in a terrible streat. In a terrible city.
I've had people trying. Yeah, I've had people trying to tell me, no, this is what the gameplay loop is like, and this is what it's supposed to be. It's like, I know, I beat the game. I didn't enjoy the gameplay loop. And I understand fans of franchises wanting people who like that franchise to be the only people that review it. But in the end, like, our sites, we're just volunteers. We're not paid. We're not working full time at this. We are completely volunteer, every single part of it. Like, and you're not paying to watch this. So if you don't like it, then just don't watch. You don't have to insult. We've just approved some fair critiques from comments. Those are criticisms. Coming in and saying, eat shit, you fat fuck, isn't a critique. So, like, just stop being an asshole.
Assassin. Why, he says, why does Nick hate From Software games? Do you want to know the real reason? I played Demon's Souls, the original Demon's Souls on PlayStation 3, because it was a PlayStation Plus game.
That was an unfair game.
It was a PlayStation Plus game. So I'm like, okay, I'll try out Demon's Souls. So I tried it, and I hated it. I hated it. It was just the worst. I'm like, this game is terrible.
Demon's Souls is the concept for what became really good. I'm still shocked at how well it... So they made some decent quality of life changements, but Demon's Souls was very unfair. And I think that's always colored people's ideas on what Dark Souls is, where Dark Souls I don't think is nearly as unfair. It's actually become progressively not, and I think Dark Souls 3 and then Elden Ring are masterpieces in their difficulty ramps. Like, it's just, it doesn't feel unfair. It doesn't feel like I have to go grind things I've already done and get stronger. Like, you can overpower everything in those games eventually. And that's just not something that was really a thing at all. Because in Armored Core, you're very gated on when you can get items, and it's just a very different thing. And Armored Core ends up being more of a fighting game where you've got to really match everything they do point for point. But the act of being able to do that is tied to replaying content I didn't love the first time. So, that's all.
I tried Demon Souls because it was on PlayStation Plus. Did not like it. So every subsequent game that came out was allegedly basically the same thing. So I'm like, well, if I didn't like Demon Souls, I'm not going to like Dark Souls. I'm not going to like Dark Souls 2. Not the same thing,
but very similar, yeah.
And then I tried Elden Ring. I got caught up in the hype. And I'm like, okay, I'll play Elden Ring. No worries. Played Elden Ring. Did not like Elden Ring either. So I'm like, cool. I made the right choice then back 10 years ago when I tried Demon Souls and didn't like it, so proceeded to skip from games. I clearly made the right choice because I also didn't like Elden Ring, which was supposedly the pinnacle of From. For me, From Software games, they're just not very good games. At all. They're just not. So, it is what it is.
I also don't like Elden Ring or Souls games, but yeah.
I got both of you codes, and
they're not good games. They're not good games. And I feel like if Demon Souls wasn't a PS3 exclusive, less people would like From games. It's just my opinion. Anyway. Hytham G. Have you gents ever been to Oktoberfest without drinking and sometimes eating at the place in relations to Jon going to Germany at Gamescom and such? But aside that, have you guys been to Germany when it relates to Gamescom and such? Your guys' trip to Deutschland?
Just Jon.
I've never been to Germany and I don't drink. So
I've never
the closest I've been to Germany is Greece. That's the closest I've been to Germany.
I've not been to an Oktoberfest, and Germany's a very nice country.
Okay. Is it very efficient?
Yeah, I guess. It's a very clean city most of the time.
Oh, that's promising.
And I tell you, like, they like to eat outside everywhere. It's a very kind of European thing. Like, there's tons of restaurants and they just spill out onto the street and people just walk, and there's smoking is everywhere here. Like proper smoking, like fags. Sorry, I shouldn't say fags. Really? That's a very British phrase, but it's just part of my lexicon.
I was about to say, you got to be careful because Australians use that word for smokes as well. And you got to be very, very careful.
Language.
Right? There were lollies. There were lollies here. Once upon a time, there were lollies in Australia, fake cigarettes. They were lolly cigarettes, and that's what they were called. They were called the F word because that's what we called cigarettes here for forever. And they had to change their name recently to Fads. 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 They had to change the G to a D.
You can't even do candy cigarettes here anymore. They're banned.
Really?
I'm not surprised.
Promote cigarettes to children. Yeah. Cigarettes just suck.
But it's everywhere here in Germany. Like all the restaurants, people are just smoking and smoking and smoking. It doesn't matter if you're eating.
Oh wow, look at that.
And I'm sitting there, and at first, when I first got here, I'm vaping outside, and I'm trying to be like super like laying it down between my legs, not pissing everyone off. And then I realised no one gives a shit. You're just lighting up like with your mouth full of your food in your face, and it's just like, oh okay, this is how it is. And it's just like chow down. Also, fun fact.
Fads.
You are not allowed, or it's not allowed, that's not the right phrase. You know, like when you go to dinner and you want to split the bill?
Yeah.
You still, yeah, you know what I mean? You know, you go to dinner.
I'm sharing my screen. The Fads.
The
fake cigarettes that we have here. But replace the D with a G, and that's what they used to be called here in Australia. Yeah.
But yes, you
Splitting a
finish
bill.
your night, and then you split the bill. Now here in the UK, usually, and I don't know what it is like for you guys, but usually grab that, and then your mates will sort you out with some cash.
Yep.
Right? They'll sort you out with some cash, and that's pretty standard. In Germany, no. The waiter will come round.
Split the bill.
What did you have? I had my one beer.
Good.
And I had this meal.
That's how it should be. That's how it should be.
It's just fully expected that way. But it's just like that's very different to how it is in the UK.
No, but that splitting bills should be standard. I should just be able to pay for what I got. In a lot of places now in Melbourne, every table has a QR code. And you just scan the QR code and order your food. And your food will come out.
Yeah.
Splitting bills should be the norm. It's borderline criminal that there are still restaurants these days that don't split bills. There was a place here, and I think they were originally US, but I could be wrong. There's a place here that was called Hog's Breath Cafe. And they used to, like, when they took your order, they'd have a little tablet or whatever, and they'd break it down per person. And you'd get your own individual bill and everything. Like, that is how it
Very
should
clever.
be. This whole idea that,
thing.
one guy pays and everyone just gives them money. Get stuffed, man. It's not 1973. Like, come on. We should be able to split bills properly. Like, Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Gaz is in the chat with a super chat. Shout out to Jon for getting lit with me.
I can neither confirm nor deny anything that Gaz says.
Man, I reckon it'd be very interesting if Gaz and I met in person.
Gaz is a lovely bloke, sculpted from marble.
An apple a day, folks. I wonder if Gaz eats apples. An apple a day. Not only does it keep the dentist away, keeps the doctor away. Apples help slow the aging process. Exhibit A. I used to eat a lot of apples. Apples, mate. Magic food. Okay. That was that question. Mort. Next question. Hello there, Jon. How much bratwurst and sauerkraut did you consume in Köln? How was the food and drink in general? Hugs, Mort.
I consumed exactly one bratwurst and one portion of sauerkraut. It was lovely. Food and drink is pretty good throughout if you enjoy meat. If you're a vegetarian, you might not have a great
vegan.
time. Well, there are quite a number of vegan restaurants, but the joke I kept making is,
are they jam packed?
Everyone we looked at was literally empty.
Line out the door.
Like, my missus is vegetarian, and she was like, "Oh, look, there's a vegan restaurant." I was like, "Yeah, it's really popular." It's just like crickets, you know what I mean? And then we were literally walking down the festival here. There was a vegan food stand, and it's like, "Oh, look, there's a vegan food stand." I was like, "Yeah, look at that queue." There's just no one there. I was making jokes as a joke towards her, but you know, we did see there's one called Vegan Junk Food, which is looking to do bad food, but actually is vegan bad food for you, like fast food, greasy street food. And it was rammed
for that
this evening, so it's good.
I'd be in for that.
Good city. It's not crazy expensive either, and it's really easy to walk around to.
Okay. Cool. Selfish burrito. I'm not answering this question. This question's for Jon and Jesse to answer. Hi, gents. Can we get some clarification on the rumor mill going forward? Are first-party rumors off the table now? I was personally gutted not to hear about the Gears 6 info last week. The rumor mill is a great part of the podcast. If anyone from Microsoft is watching, and I'm told they are you listening to this question? The rumor mill is a great part of the podcast and would hate to see it go or be limited in any way. Part of the beauty of it was how unpredictable it could be. With Switch one week, Fortnite the next, and an Xbox game after that. Even if it's not a game I'm particularly interested in or other things change, Darkwing Duck, they're nice little nuggets of info and a unique part of the podcast. P.S. You look great, Nick. I know. Thanks.
This is a really easy question to answer. Really easy question to answer.
Go for it, guys. Answer.
Yeah, the rumor mill isn't going anywhere as long as Nick continues to get rumors. There you go. Answer.
That is the most dishonest answer. That is the most disingenuous.
There's nothing dishonest about that.
That is the most.
It's very true.
You know how I said earlier, guys, and how I say on this.
You know how I feel my answer.
You know how I always say, guys, execs say what they need to say when they need to say it. You just saw a perfect example of it there from Jon. Oh, man. This is one of those examples where if I start talking now, these two are going to start panicking and telling me to shut up.
I'm not going to provide a more fleshed out answer if you want, Nick. Do you want me to put
Yeah.
If people like our channel and they want to see it grow, yeah.
I'm interested.
No, it's better answer than that. The rumor mill won't be going anywhere or really changing in any way, shape, or form, except to say, and I think Nick already does this, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. Except to say that if there are scenarios where we would potentially be ruining someone else's reveal of hard work to a large degree, yeah, or unnecessarily spoiling something moments before, we would probably not do that so much. Would you say that's fair and agreeable, Nick?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, dear.
I don't know if I
Jon and I know.
I don't know if I would lean more towards a certain, what's the word? No, I think you can get cancelled these days for saying that word too. But so I won't say it.
Orange Chair in the chat. Don't most of these rumors do that anyways? You're absolutely right. Hence why my original answer was, no, the rumor mill isn't really going anywhere.
What do most of my rumors do anyway?
Not ruin people's hard work.
Like that. Saying. You don't normally spoil something that's imminent or about to be revealed. Normally.
Well, no, I'm generally, depending on what it is, like, for example, like, as an example, just before the Xbox Game Showcase, how I predicted all that stuff, the way I did it, I didn't do it as a rumor mill. I didn't say, here, I'm leaking the Xbox Showcase. No one even noticed. No one in the chat even noticed or anything that I was basically leaking the entire thing because I did it in a way that wasn't that direct.
So that was the worst thing to bring up because that's the type of thing that we can't do.
Anyway. No, I know. I'm just saying, but the way I did that didn't directly spoil it. It wasn't until after it was all revealed that everyone was like, oh my God, Nick knew. So, yeah, Lucius, Rand does do it. Rand does do it, Lucius. You're right. Funny
people
that.
Noticed.
Whatever. So anyway, Gears 6. About Gears 6. No? No?
Hit the button, Jesse.
Anyway. We're going to hit the rumor mill. We're going to hit the rumor mill button.
Hit the rumor button. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Anyway.
Seriously, do it. Seriously, actually do it.
We'll find.
Call him out.
I'll find a way. I'll find a way to rework or rejig or strategically find a way around.
It in the chat. I'm doing it right now. You want it?
But I thought we can't anymore.
It's the rumor mill. We've never heard that before. It's the rumor mill. Things change, we can't be sure. It's the rumor mill. You know they may not come true. The XboxEra podcast is not responsible for websites presenting these rumors as facts.
Am I doing it? Am I doing my Gears 6 rumor mill? Am I?
Nicholas.
But aren't we worried that certain people will get annoyed? Okay. So, Gears 6. I had just heard a couple of things about Gears 6 a while back. Nothing too major. Just had heard, that it is a little bit further along than some might think. That's not a big deal, is it? And
It's not a big deal, mate.
That's
just a rumor. There's nothing confirmed about this.
It's just a rumor. That's right. It's just a rumor. I'd heard that it's a little bit further along than people think. I also heard that there's a strong possibility that it may be a full open world, almost open world game.
Interesting.
Gears 6.
Curious. Wow.
So I know Gears 5 was a step towards that. And I think
it's weird because some people really hated
another
those
level.
Sections. Yeah, some people hated those and some people really liked it. I'm very curious to see what a full...
Well, the thing with an open world... The thing with an open world there would be more... Instead of being more empty corridors to get you to bespoke-made Gears levels, could you just make a giant Gears level? Like, can you just make this humongous thing? Instead of having long swaths of essentially tunneling you in between levels. So, you can do that. It's not going to really change too much.
So, let me just make sure I didn't word what I just said incorrectly. I don't think I did. Hold on. John caught me by surprise. So I wasn't prepared.
It felt like Marty McFly in Back to the Future. Nobody tells me.
Yeah, so...
But this could also be the thing that does annoy them because they don't get to put out their vision for the game. Kind of like what happened with Grub saying Pentiment is, different than it ended up being.
I think I was right more in where I'm saying, you know how Gears 5 took a step in that open world direction? I think Gears looks to be taking that to another level. So I don't know if maybe I was wrong when I said I don't think it's going to be just an open world game a la Ubisoft stuff, but I believe that they look to be taking that next step.
Another
that
level.
5 started. Yeah, I think they're going to take that. What they started with 5, I think they look to be taking it to another level with 6. Yeah.
And the other part is that it's further along than one might think.
Yeah. The other part was that I was told that it's probably a little bit further along than you'd think it was. Whatever that means. That feels rather nebulous to me, but that's what I was told. That it's further along than people would think.
Cool.
Yes.
I look forward to hearing from the coalition one day soon.
Boy, that rumor mill was so worth it. People are thrilled. They're jumping out the windows, excited, throwing popcorn in the air. I can't handle it.
I never said it was going to be great or bad or indifferent.
We built it
That's
up.
all it
man.
was. That's all it was. That's it.
It's 1:30 in the morning over here. Let's go.
Finish up.
What do we got?
Okay. Azuizu. To Jon and Nick, as you have mentioned before, neither of you are big fans of open world games. but did want to try Starfield. No, Azuizu, I never wanted to try Starfield. Are you guys still going to? And have you guys made any changes to the mindset with which you choose to approach the game? My advice, if you find the main quest too laborious, is to approach them games like a crackhead who is high into shrooms and locked out of his house. Basically, see how much doo-doo you can fling at the world and see how it reacts. Or maybe Jesse has some better advice for the restless folks. Cheers. As a wizard, I've never had a single shred of interest in Starfield. Not one.
I will talk about Starfield. On next week's show.
Mm-hmm.
Correct, Jesse? I will talk about it then.
It'll be me, you, and MVG, and we'll just kick Nick off, and we'll have a good Starfield talk.
We'll have a good Starfield chat, amongst friends.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
You know what the funny thing is? I think I saw a quote. It was probably a quote taken out of context because I did not read the article, but something about Pete Hines saying Starfield really starts after you've beat the main game. And I'm like, oh my God, that's not a selling point, dude.
It's talking towards fans. It's talking towards the fans of Bethesda games that really love living in those games and having tons of different stuff to do. It's not if you're not into the games, like it's like Diablo 4. There are people who are furious and mad and saying, well, you gave Diablo 4 a great score. Yeah, I played 150 hours and I loved it. I don't need 9,000 hours out of it. If you do, then yeah, you can say, okay, after I hit level 70, it was boring. And I get it. And with Bethesda games, it's the Kamana-Tongs of the world who are, I want to play 5,000 hours of this. Is there going to be that for me? That's who he's talking to. For you, for most games like that, you can beat the campaign and be okay when you're not the dedicated fan base.
When I saw that quote, which again I'm sure was out of context, but when I saw that quote of the game gets going after you've beat the main campaign, I'm like, that is the most anti-selling point of a game ever. Like, seriously. Anyway, okay. So yes, next question. Omen, hi all. I was just on a short summer vacation and spent a small portion of the time beating Tekken. If any of you have not beat Tekken yet, I would highly, highly recommend beating it before it leaves Game Pass next week. On a related topic, what do you think is the chance that the developers of Tekken could do the next Banjo game? I have no idea what Tekken is. Let me look this up.
It was a Pikmin type game, I think.
Yeah, I played a little bit with my son, and I know my son. It was one of the first games he ever completed. He absolutely adored it, and it was genuinely really good. I think it got a lot of love on
looks cool.
Game Pass, and you might want to check it out before it leaves because it is apparently meant to be a lovely little game, nice and short. No
it looks
cutscenes.
Nice. It looks
only a couple hours on.
Visually, it looks very nice.
Yeah,
I would almost argue Plucky Squire may have taken a little bit of inspiration from it. I would argue. Obviously, I can't confirm or deny that since I'm the developer of Plucky Squire, but still.
And you would need someone who would want to argue with you, and neither of us do.
Yeah.
True.
Okay. Good old Collingwood. Hello, John and Jesse, and happy minor premiership, Nick. Yes, Collingwood. So the home and away season of the AFL ends this weekend. So the main season. And I guess now for what you guys would call, or the Americans would call, the playoffs start in a couple of weeks. But at the end of the home and away season, the regular season, Collingwood finished on top of the standings. We just call it the ladder. You guys would call it standings, whatever the hell you guys call it. We finished at the top. Best team of the home and away season, the Pies. So, recent RPGs have got very detailed character creators. For example, Baldur's Gate for one. And we all know about Cyberpunk 2077's very detailed groin modifier. What about Street Fighter 6? Street Fighter 6 is full on. Starfield will have Bethesda Games' most detailed character creator to date. So, are you a person who micromanages creating a character so they have the right hair, nose, eyes, and face so they look like yourself? Or your dream person to fly into space? Or are you someone who says, hang all that, and just takes the first generic character that comes along? I
do a
try
little
and make
bit.
me, and I always fail.
No.
What?
I'm not allowed to say how long I spent building my character. It's not an impression. It's not good or bad. It's just a time.
It's I just look at it like any information. Like I wasn't even going to say I had done the review because then people are going to try and extrapolate. Well, how long did it take and all that type of stuff. So it's like, I think that would be fine. But you can be like, I spent 2 minutes or I spent an hour. Like it's, it is what it is. I don't think people care too much.
I spent a couple of, maybe 1.5 episodes of Friends doing something.
Anyway. The only time I only created a character one time that legitimately looked like me, and that was a Nintendo Me. That was the only time I made a character that legitimately looked like me. Like, it legit looks like me. Every time I try with the more realistic character creators, I can't get it right. I tried with Street Fighter. Tried with Street Fighter 6, couldn't get it right. Tried with other games, but with that Nintendo Me, it legitimately looks like me.
We call you Nintendo for a reason.
I've given it a big nose, and it's like spot on. Probably because it keeps it simple. I think when there's too much detail in it, I get lost in trying to get things right, and it ends up just not looking like me. Yeah. Anyway, what are you going to do? Last question.
What you going to do?
Hugh. Howdy, all. I hope you're all fine and dandy. So, Jon, you met the big man. What was his impressions on the book, and did you get to ask him any other questions? Gamescom looked fantastic. Did you make any new connections? Perhaps some new guests for the show? Also, was there really no presence from PlayStation at all?
It's actually the third time I've met Phil in person. But yes, he was wowed. I would almost say that Phil was touched. And he signed this one I have next to me. We're going to give it away to the community at some point. We spoke about Nick. Do you want me to tell you what Phil said about you?
Go for it.
He said,
Nick's I'm not expecting anything nice.
Nick's got a voice. He said it in a nice way. He's like, Nick's got a voice, and I like that. So,
what does that mean?
There you go. Nick's got his own opinions. There you go. Deliberately teasing you, like, what was that in the context of what? Gamescom looks fantastic. Yes, it was. Did we make any other connections? Yeah. We made some really good goes into a lot of the Xbox team. Had a really good conversation with some of the hardware folks. And on PlayStation, I'll tell you one funny story. I was in a hotel and there was a meeting room, conference room off to the side. And there was a big PlayStation banner. There was no public PlayStation presence that I'm aware of.
Yeah, Nintendo showed some games and stuff there, including Tears of the Kingdom, oddly enough. But I didn't see anything from PlayStation.
Okay.
That's it. It's the end of the show. At 20 to 2 in the morning, Germany time.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. That's it.
That's it.
That is it. I have a
we
voice.
Can all go now.
Apparently. Yeah. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Yeah, really appreciate everyone.
Jon's internet is failing hard.
Yeah, Nick's going to have to see us out.
Yeah, so thanks everyone for joining us on this rather subdued episode that we meandered our way through thanks to weird internet troubles.
It's been fun.
God only knows what the audio version's going to sound like.
Oh, perfect, because we're recording it.
Hopefully, we will find a way to get back into the OBS version sometime soon, which will stop my camera from freezing the way it does. I don't know why StreamYard has such an issue with
my upload thing. I'm not going to do the record. They'll be fine then.
So yes, please continue to check out XboxEra.com for our reviews, and that I don't do any of, and previews, news coming out of Gamescom. Yep. Fair chance the rumor mill dies in this episode. There will be no rumor mills going forward, unfortunately. Most likely. Next week, MVG should be on, I believe. I believe MVG will be on.
Instead of you.
No. And I think the week after that, I think we may have a dev from Purple Tree Studios on to talk about Thunder Ray, that awesome looking Punch-Out game that I really want. So be sure to check that out. We'll be back at our normal time next week. And today was an hour early because John didn't want to be up late, even though he's on a holiday. So next week we'll be back at our normal time. So be sure to check us out then.
Starfield week.
Yeah, Starfield week. Who cares? So
it's gonna be a great episode because Nick will have nothing to say.
Anyway, thanks for joining us, everyone, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Ciao for now.